42, and now match 6. The numbers are 43, 39, 24, 40, 21, 34. Thanks for playing. The Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Hey guys, welcome to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We have so much going on in our show tonight. We have a lot to get through, so let me take you through some of the live cameras that we've got going for you. First and foremost, you can take a look to the right side of your screen. You see Xfinity Mobile Arena. The Flyers got a game tonight. We are playing the Carolina Hurricanes once again. This is Game 3, Round 2. We'll be checking in on how the fans are getting along. We'll be checking in on the team, and then of course, throughout the game that starts at 8, we'll be checking in on that score. Of course, you're also taking a live look at a beautiful city skyline shot here in Philadelphia. It has been a gorgeous week. I mean, we've gotten a little bit of rain, but if we can balance out the rain with a lot of sunshine like we've got today, and then on a day like Mother's Day this weekend, it's going to be, I think, in the 80s. We'll be checking in with our meteorologist, Scott Williams, to talk to us a little bit more about the things that we can do to get outside, have a little fun, and then of course, just looking ahead at our week, is next week going to mirror what happened this week? And then you're also going to see on the bottom right hand of your screen, we've got some video from that cruise ship where we know 150 people were on board. They've been making their way to the Canary Islands out in Spain, where hopefully they'll be able to disembark. But I know a lot of people have been nervous learning more and more about this virus. Is it contagious to other people? Is it possible that if they come in my area, in my city, in my state, that I could catch this too? We'll be talking about all of that and more, breaking it on down with a Fox News reporter who has been touching base on everything that you need to know about the Hantavirus. But let's get back to the game, because again, it's a really exciting time for all of our fans. We've got another chance to take it on home. We want to go to the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, we want to win is what I'm trying to say. And I have a feeling that everybody's all oranged out. Let's check in with Shawnette Wilson, one of our reporters who's live out there at the arena, just to check in on how all the fans are getting along. Shawnette, I see you looking around. You look great with the sunnies on. How's it going?
Thank you. It's going very well. Look at this. This is the energy we like here, right? You gonna say something with those hands up?
Flyers.
Let's do it.
Let's go Flyers! Look, we're out here. We're bringing the energy to, I got a pretzel in my mouth, Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Uh-huh.
I gotta take a sip of my water.
This is actually a TV thing we're doing.
Are we
What's your
live
name?
right now?
What's your name?
I'm John. I'm from Wilmington.
John, I was looking for you. Where did you go?
I went to
how are you feeling,
Stateside Live.
John?
Oh, yeah.
This is a good fan, though. How are you feeling going into this game tonight?
Here's the thing. We outplayed them in Game 2. It's a little frustrating that we didn't win, but we outplayed them in Game 2. I'm predicting.
Yeah.
Everybody write this down. Put your bets in on whatever app you're on. Clearly a 4-2 win tonight. No doubt about it. It's going to be 3-2 going to third. Empty netter. TK is going to make up for that missed breakaway in overtime. There's a TK jersey right there. That's a sign. I didn't even see it.
Oh.
I didn't even know, but that's
Okay.
a sign right there.
So you have laid out the game for us tonight.
Yeah, 4-2 win.
All right, 4-2
Come
win.
back on Saturday at 1 o'clock. 5-3 win on Saturday. And then we'll go to Carolina, see what happens.
All right, John, we love that. All right, so he's got this game all laid out for us tonight. They still have to go in, though. We can't just rely on him. Sean, where are your fancy glasses? Come on over, honey. Who's with you today?
This is Mike, Christy, and Rocco.
And where'd y'all travel from?
From North Wales. King of Prussia.
Jenkintown. All right, Jenkintown as well. How are you feeling going into the game tonight?
Feeling great. I think it's going to be a 4-2 win like my man John said.
So I feel like the last tailgating I did with the Flyers during the Penguin series, it was a different energy out here. It seems very chill, very relaxed today. Is it because we're 0-2 right now? Do you think there's a little bit of a different feeling?
I think there wasn't much expectation getting into the second round for some fans. With other fans, they might have thought a little bit more than that. So I think it depends on how everyone feels and how everyone watches the game, and has been for the last, 5-10 years too, when they've been not so great of a team the last 10 years or so.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sean.
appreciate it.
All right. So, Judea, hang with me because I got 2 more people, or 3, unless you have to go. I got Dennis and Ian, right? Yes. All right.
Yeah.
How are you, honey?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing well.
We're ready to go in. We're ready.
You're ready.
Yeah, let's put us in.
What's the energy out being here
Ah,
today?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Great weather. Great, great vibe with all the people walking by. It's just awesome.
What time did y'all get here?
We got here about a half hour ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you predicting tonight? I mean, we were a win, yes, but
Hey.
what do you think?
I'm predicting them to really put it to them tonight and send a message. So let's go, boys.
Show them what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, they're gonna show us something. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Ah,
Oh!
Shout out to Haverford Hawks hockey, Lower Marion Ice hockey.
Yeah.
Let's go Flyers.
Good shout out. Thank you, Ian. So, Judea, these are, fans just waiting to get ready to go in. Some people, I met a guy earlier today who said that he came down to tailgate at 12:45 today. So there are some
12:45?
dedicated fans who have been out here all day. 12:45, and he was drinking, but he was doing well. He's pacing himself.
Is he
But they're
eating
just
too?
having a good time, right? We've got some fans over here. Yes, he was. They've got the grill out. Let's go.
It's a must-win game tonight. It's a must-win game tonight.
Yeah, we're not going to let them sweep. Who's running this grill over here?
That would be myself.
What's your name, handsome?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. What do you have on the grill today?
I had some hand-patted burgers, but I put a little fresh pesto in them, and then some chicken sausages.
How are you feeling about going into this game tonight?
I'm feeling great. We're going to get a W tonight. Then we're going to get another W. And then maybe another W. Yeah, that's what we do.
Did you get down at all, though?
Yeah, we all get down. It happens. But we're used to it. You know what we're used to doing? Getting right the fuck back up.
I know you weren't supposed to do that.
I'm
Now, why
sorry.
do you do that?
I apologize.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But we're going to get a win tonight.
Oh, we're definitely going to get a W.
Where'd y'all come from? What area? Where you from?
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
All right, have a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah, appreciate y'all.
All right, thank you. So there's the grill. It's a lot of excitement, I mean, the language, we try to keep it clean, but we're happy to be here. I mean, that's really what fans are feeling. Like, we've got some work to do. We can't let go of this series. So yeah, excuse the language, but they're just having a good time. So you can see fans right now just going into Xfinity Mobile Arena. Game start time is 8 o'clock tonight. People jersey down and just really excited, Judea. I mean, for me, I feel like, it's interesting just that, a lot of fans don't want to continue talking about, where we stand in this series right now. It's like that's what it was, and tonight is going to be what it is, which we expect it to be a win.
I like that thought process. That's how you keep things positive. And you know what? I'm not even tripping off the language. It is what it is. Obviously, everybody's really excited. We're just showing you how high energy it is out there as they're getting ready to go on in. And just seeing all the people behind you filing in, it looks like it's going to be a pretty big crowd out.
And if we spin around really quick, you can just see, they're coming in numbers now.
Wow.
So people are just excited. I mean, it's happy to see, good to see fans in good spirits. And like I said, there is a bit of a different energy from the last series, and for obvious reasons, but, we can't look back, right? All we can do is, support our boys tonight.
Yeah, let's keep looking forward. We're hoping that by when 8 o'clock rolls around, we've got a good game ahead of us. I know, like I said, a lot of people are excited. We hear the Go Flyers, all the orange and black heading on into the stadium.
And don't zoom in, but Judea, I still have on, don't zoom in, Aaron. I still have on my orange nail polish, and it looks so bad, right? But I think it might be a good luck charm, right? I'm not going to redo it unless, I'm not going to redo it until after we win tonight.
Okay.
It's holding on, though.
Let's find out if it is a good luck charm. Shawnette, thank you so much for giving us this live report.
All
We're
right.
gonna keep things going with the Flyers, you guys. I want to touch base now with our sports team. Marcus Beasley is on standby, ready to give me some details about what we can expect to this game ahead. Marcus, you could see the fans are out there. They're really excited, super pumped. We're hearing a lot of different things from them. But let's talk about the guys. Do you know anything about their mindset?
No. I want to talk about those nails that Shawnette was rocking. I mean, I
Don't do
need
her
to
like
know
that.
who her nail girl is. All right, no, but in terms of the players and stuff, I mean, they're pumped. They understand what kind of severity is at stake with being down 2-0, but at the same time, they're extremely excited. I mean, as you just saw and as you had talked with Shawnette, I mean, the fans, the energy from the home crowd is going to be electric, which they will build off of. They're going to have a lot of fun with, and hopefully at the end of the night, we're going to be talking 2-1.
That's exactly what I want to see. I think that's exactly what the fans want to see, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there anybody in particular that you're expecting to have a really good game, or anybody that you want to watch in particular?
Well, me personally, I'm always about the goalies when it comes to hockey, just because obviously they're the ones that are really the ones to determine the outcome of the game. I think Dan Vladar is going to have a stellar performance tonight. I think between how good he's been in the series beforehand, he's been a little shaky in these first couple games, so he is due for a great performance. I think we're going to see that, so he is my pick for a standout performer. On a Fantastic Sports Show just a half hour ago, a lot of fans were all over Porter Martone. They were saying that he is going to be the one that's going to step up, so a lot of fans have a lot of faith in Porter Martone, so he seems to be the overall favorite to step up tonight.
I wonder how his merch sales are going, actually, because as you mentioned, like, yeah, there are a lot of fans already excited for him, especially a lot of the young fans who are excited to see what he could do this season, and so far he's been playing great.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just the fans are always big on the young talent. Last year, Matvey Michkov was like the talk of the town for the whole year. Every time he scored a goal, people would talk about it. When he reached 20 goals last year, everyone was saying nothing but great things for him. So he was the hot new topic last year. So the fact that the fans have been all over Porter Martone is not a surprise at all. I think the fans really look forward to the future of this franchise. So the fact that people are all over him is not a surprise. Fans love the hot new rookie that comes into town.
Well, I hope he is riding it on out, because I'm sure that's the energy that he needs to boost his confidence to have a good game after game after game. Marcus, I want to take a second and also talk about the Phillies, because of course their game is actually already going on. They started around 6:40, I believe. We actually have their score if we could pull it up for the people.
We don't need to do that.
We do.
No, come on.
And this is just so everybody knows where we're at. I mean,
we were having such a good conversation. You know what? Just for that, when I get my nails, you're not going with me, all right? Shauna and I will just go by ourselves. You're excluded, okay?
Marcus,
if you're gonna bring this
nail tech?
negativity, if you're gonna bring this negativity in, we can't hang out like that. Come on.
Well, joke's on you, because first of all, I wear press-ons. I'm not even going to the nail salon. Okay, I did have to bring it up only because yesterday, of course, we had a great game against the A's, and it's not like we can't do it again. It is possible that as the game goes on, we could turn things around. So what are we in, the bottom of the second? Yeah.
We're in the bottom of the second. Yeah, and like you said, it is early. It is absolutely early. There is they have, based on you can see in the box score, they have a good 7 to 8 innings to put up over 4 runs. So it is absolutely possible. The problem is that Andrew Painter, the young rookie that everyone has had a lot of optimism towards, he unfortunately has given up two-run home runs in the first inning, in which, as you saw, resulted in the 4-0 goal or score. So he unfortunately is not having the best start. Hopefully he can recover and bounce back for the rest of his outing. I mean, he had 37 pitches just in the first inning alone, so he may not make it past the 4th inning, depending on if he can get through the lineup. So that part is the only thing that really I'm a little pessimistic about. But like we said, it is still really early in this game, so plenty of time for the Phillies to come back. And I mean, they came back last night. They were down going into the bottom of the 8th, and they came back and they were able to close it out. It was a little sketchy, but they were able to close it out. So I'm still optimistic in terms of how early it is, but yeah, Painter unfortunately is not having the best start, so we're just gonna have to wait and see.
All right, so we've talked about the Flyers, we talked about the Phillies a little bit, we also have to talk about the Sixers. You know, a lot of us were hoping that we were gonna come out on top yesterday, and it was close. Like, we fought really hard.
See, that's the thing though, is that like they had the lead, it was late in the 4th, and then they couldn't buy a bucket. They kept missing so many shots, and then the Knicks just slowly and surely just started coming back and scoring. They went on a 9-0 run, and then they just never looked back. And unfortunately, it just really felt like the Sixers just needed that playmaker that just it couldn't happen. I mean, just too many missed shots. And obviously Embiid not being in the game was a huge factor. So, I mean, yeah, it was close, but in these kind of games, I mean, there's no ties, there's no, okay, like moral victories. It's just the fact that they lost just was a sour note. Now, there is some positive for tomorrow's game. Joel Embiid, he is listed as questionable with the hip and ankle injury. So there is a good chance that he could play. The Knicks, they're dealing with injuries. OG Anunoby, he's got a right hamstring strain, so he's day-to-day. So guys are really starting to show how banged up they are, but Joel Embiid is trending in the right direction, so hopefully we can see him for Game 3. That's kind of like the only positive. I understand it was a close call, but I mean, we got to get Embiid back because I think he would have been a huge difference maker in last game.
I mean, you guys out there streaming with us, let me know. Do you want him back in the game? Do you think he needs to take more time to heal himself up for the different ailments that he's got going on? Marcus, I always appreciate talking to you, the way you break things down, the way you make them fun as well. We'll be touching base with the sports team a little later on as we continue to keep our eyes on the Flyers. And that's where I want to bring things back on to. Marcus, thank you. Again, that game is supposed to get started at 8 o'clock. One of my colleagues, Caitlin Gormley, she is a huge Flyers fan. She's in the building. She sent me some videos, some pictures of what it looks like as they were getting all set up. So first and foremost, you can see the Zamboni is going on around the ice. It's all oranged out. They are ready for those fans to come in. And as we saw when we were talking to Shawnette Wilson, there are so many people coming into the arena to try to fill it on out. Hopefully all that cheering, all that screaming gives the guys the energy they need to pull off a win tonight. The city of Philadelphia needs it. And then I also heard that not only do we have this, but we also have some merch at the games. If you go, looks like on the seats, they've got shirts that say good things happen to good people. So if you are going out to the game, you know, would love if you tag Fox 29 in any of your posts on the various social media platforms that you might be on, Instagram, maybe you're on Facebook, X. We would love to see you shine bright in your orange for tonight's game, especially if we win. All right, let's take a quick step back from that. I see that a couple of you guys got really, really into it when we were talking about the virus on that cruise ship. So in a little bit, we'll be talking to a Fox News reporter, Kaylee Schuyler, about the Hantavirus. But just in case some of you are all new to this and wondering why people are freaking out, well, they say that there is this cruise that went off to sea on April 1st. By around April 11th, we heard that they had actually already had confirmed that there was an outbreak on that ship, and they're calling the illness that's going around the Hantavirus. They say that there are a couple of different strains of it, and just so you know, the Hantavirus is usually gotten through the excrement of rodents. So we're talking about pee, poop, saliva, etc. Usually it's when you inhale some of the contaminants in those, we'll call them byproducts, just to, you know, be on the clean side of things. But they're saying that on this particular cruise ship, everybody's been getting the Andes virus strain of the Hantavirus. And they're saying that that is actually contagious between people to people. You can spread it. So the big question has been for the longest time, what are we going to do with the people who have been on that ship? There are 150 passengers, multiple crew members, and they had been out at sea for almost the entire month of April into May, just trying to figure out what to do with them. A lot of different countries did not want them to dock because, as you can imagine, they were afraid of what would happen. Although I do want to let you know, health officials do say that this is very different than the coronavirus. We'll be going over the differences between the two throughout this show. But just to give you that heads up, I want to make sure that we're not causing people to panic. They say this is very different than what we experienced when we were going through the COVID-19 pandemic. But Spain did decide to let that ship dock. And so I think that's supposed to happen on Saturday. Yesterday I was going back and forth with whether it had already happened because I knew some people had already gotten off the ship. We're talking about a couple dozen people already home. That's because they made their way home after a stop in St. Helena. So again, we'll be talking about all of this. I saw some of you say, Do not dock that boat. Y'all should have left them there. Please keep hitting us up in the comment section. This is an interactive news conversation, so it's very different than your traditional news show on television. You can actually influence what we talk about. So you guys kept talking about the Hantavirus. That's how we ended up talking about it live right here on the show. Let me know what you want to talk about. If you've got a question for that reporter, I want to let you know that's going to happen around 7:40. So if you have a question for Kaylee, go ahead and put it in the comment section right now. I'll take a look and be able to ask her when I see her. But I want to bring things back on here to Philadelphia. Again, today has been a gorgeous day. Yesterday we were playing around with rain every now and again. I think that might be the plan for tomorrow too. Let's check in with our meteorologist, Scott Williams, just to see if that's true. Scott, what have you got for us?
Yeah, you know, most of us saw dry conditions for the balance of the day today, but some of the shore points, Delaware beaches, saw those clouds hanging as well as some showers out there. But tomorrow will be a Chamber of Commerce day. We're looking at temperatures today that made it into the upper 60s, still a few degrees below that average, which is 72 degrees. But hey, we'll take it. Wilmington maxed out at 68 degrees. It was 66 for Reading, 65 the high temperature at the airport for Atlantic City, and Trenton reported a high of 65 degrees. Overnight low temperatures will dip into the 40s, especially once you get outside of the city, but we are not talking about any frost or freeze concerns, so that is some good news. And typically we say wait until Mother's Day to plant those tender plants, that sensitive vegetation, and it looks like that's going to hold true. So starting to get safe to do so. As far as those temperatures tonight in Wilmington, 47 degrees, 44 for Trenton, low 40s as we get toward portions of the Lehigh Valley. So here's a look at the setup for right now. We've been watching that front stall to the south of us. Still some clouds hanging around Sussex County, Cape May County, but most of us enjoying a mixture of sun and clouds out there. Those temperatures tomorrow start in the low to mid 50s, climbing to the upper 60s. We'll go 70 degrees. So, of course, 2 degrees above where we should be for this time of year for those high temperatures for Philadelphia. And then as we get towards Saturday, there will be a few morning showers, I think, north and west, then a bit of a lull until we watch a broken line of scattered showers and storms. Right now, it looks like the timing 2 p.m. until about 7 p.m. So that's kind of the window we're watching for some inconvenient weather, unfortunately, on Saturday. Those temperatures upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. And as we get toward Sunday, high temperatures topping out around 81 degrees. So the pick day of the weekend is Mother's Day, and that is certainly good news. So here's a look at some of the thinking with the timing of that rainfall Saturday afternoon. Now, there will be a few morning showers out there, don't get me wrong, but we will be watching that broken line of scattered showers and thunderstorms moving from west to east across the area. Not anticipating severe weather, but just kind of an inconvenience as folks are planning outdoor events, graduations. We're talking about weddings. We are in that season for all of these outdoor activities, and you have to keep an eye to the sky for some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms that will be moving through. Now, in terms of the forecast for Mother's Day itself, temperatures in the morning, mid to upper 60s, climbing rapidly into the mid to upper 70s for most of the afternoon into the evening time frame. Now, once the sun sets, all bets are off. We will be watching a storm system that will be approaching, and that will increase the clouds Sunday night into Monday. Temperatures will go from around 80 degrees on Sunday to only the 50s for high temperatures on Monday. So we're about to enter a stretch where we get rain one day, a dry break, rain one day, a dry break, and then more rain. So you can see that illustrated here with that 7-day forecast showing you the unsettled conditions all around Mother's Day. So Saturday and then Monday, we've got the PGA in town beginning on Monday. Looks like it will be kind of damp and dreary for that. And then we're talking, of course, those temperatures only in the upper 50s on Monday after 81, the high on Sunday. A dry break Tuesday, 66 degrees, then low to mid 60s for Wednesday and Thursday as we still watch some rain, of course, that could impact the PGA for next week. And then we're back into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees in terms of the forecast for next weekend. So we're still on the, I say it every night, this roller coaster. We're still on it. We are still on it, but we're kind of dancing around some rain, a part of Mother's Day weekend, and we're dry for most of Mother's Day itself, during the daylight hours, so to speak, when folks are trying to do stuff, maybe outdoors for mom.
Yeah, the forecast looks great. And actually, Tito Transport says this is great weather to go out. Shout out to Hannah List, who's also in the live stream chat. Now, Scott, first, I want to say, I really have enjoyed the Mother's Day graphics that you guys have, the animations. Yesterday, it was like the flowers were blooming.
Yeah.
Today, we had her opening the card, and you get to see the Mother's Day forecast. It was so cute. I love the work that you guys have been putting in.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to put together some more. I think I have one like that has some cute artwork on the refrigerator with a magnet and stuff like that. And then I have one actually that's like breakfast in bed. Wait until you see that one.
Okay. Break that one out on Sunday if you're here. We love to see it. You guys, like I said, have been doing a great job. I did want to ask you though, looking ahead to next weekend where we see like slowly but surely we're getting back up to those nice temperatures. Is that any indication, I don't know if it's too soon to ask, is that any indication that maybe we're starting to trend towards that 70, 80 degree permit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're going to get to a point where we're seeing more temperatures in the 70s and 80s as opposed to the 60s. But the past several days, we've kind of been stuck in those low to mid 60s for high temperatures. But the average high this time of year is currently at 72 degrees, but by the middle and end of the month, we go to upper 70s. So absolutely.
Got it. Thank you so much for giving us a look at our forecast. We'll check in with you a little later on just to see if anything has changed as people try to get their last minute plans going. This is going to be very helpful. Thanks, Scott. All right, you guys, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Steph, who just said, hey, she's now joining the chat. Welcome on in. Just want to remind you, and Cameron, Baby the Ice Princess, all of you guys who are in the live stream chat right now, this is an interactive conversation. So just the way you told me hi, I was able to say hi back to you. If you've got questions for any of our reporters, when we go back out to our meteorologists, maybe even the sports team, you can go ahead, write whatever it is that you want answered. I'll be able to read through it, vet it, and then bring it on over to the experts who will be able to get you that answer. Also want to let you know that sometimes you're able to influence where we go next. So let's say there's a topic in the news right now and you really want to know more about it and you haven't heard me talk about it just yet. Well, let me know that you want me to go into it during a commercial break. Maybe I can do a little research and then bring it to you live. So this is Philadelphia Live. We got a lot of things going tonight. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Remember, we got a lot of things cooking for you guys. Let's talk about Pope Leo, the first American-born pope that we have had that has led the Catholic Church. He made history. And can you believe that it's already been a year? Like, he's coming up on a year of being in that position. Again, just like transformative, I would say, for the U.S. to be in this kind of religious position. Now, today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with him. He's met with him at the Vatican. I want to touch base with Oliviana Calmes from Fox News, who could talk to us a little bit more about, you know, how he's been doing his journey throughout this position. Oliviana, what are you learning as you're live for us now from where he's from, Chicago?
That's right. This is his hometown, and I know I can't believe it's already been a year. And today, just hearing about this meeting, also it comes at a time when Pope Leo is becoming more vocal about global conflicts and calls for peace. The State Department says Rubio and Pope Leo discussed the situation in the Middle East today, along with other international issues. But in recent weeks, President Trump has been going after Pope Leo over his response to the war in Iran after the Pope called for peace and diplomacy and criticized escalation in the region. Yesterday, reporters had a chance to ask President Trump if he had a message to the Pope ahead of Rubio's visit.
As far as the Pope is concerned, and it's very simple. Whether I make him happy or I don't make him happy, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And he seemed to be saying that they can, and I say they cannot.
And tomorrow will mark 1 full year since the Chicago native Robert Prevost became the first American elected pope. Vatican journalist Elise Ann Allen, who just wrote a new biography about Pope Leo, tells me he takes a slow and reflective approach to leadership. She says Leo kept a much lower profile as a cardinal, but says he's now more comfortable speaking out on global issues.
We're going to see Pope Leo doubling down on sort of this messaging of peace, his calls to peace, his condemnations of war, and, you know, increasingly also condemnations of the use of faith in the name of God to justify war and violence.
And Allen says even a year later, a lot of people are still amazed to see an American leading the Catholic Church, let alone someone here from the Midwest in Chicago, Judea.
Interested in seeing how he chooses his leadership style. A lot of people loved, rest in peace, Pope Francis. He, though, has a very different leadership style, had a different leadership style. Can you talk to me about some of the differences between the two?
Yeah, that's one thing I asked that author who has spent time, with Pope Leo, of course, and she said that his leadership style at first, they didn't know when things would start happening, when decisions would start being made, but he's got that slow, more methodical approach, whereas Pope Francis had quicker decisions, more impulsive decisions that happened while he was in it. Judea?
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you to, a lot of people, as you have mentioned, he's from Chicago, but a lot of people don't necessarily see Pope Leo as the typical American. What is that all about?
Right, that's because he spent decades, and this is what the author tells me, he spent decades outside of the U.S. He was serving in Peru. He also spent time traveling all over the world. So what he says is that what he brings is really an international and global perspective and really understanding people from all across the world.
And then why would that global perspective, that international experience he has, why would that matter?
Yeah, he says it just makes it so he can understand people from all of these different countries, continents better as he leads.
It's been really interesting watching the way he approaches his job. And then, of course, everybody knows that there was that spat between the president and the Pope. Just watching how he has responded to that as well. So, again, it's just wild to know it's already been a year. Just seeing, where he takes his leadership from here. It's going to be interesting.
It definitely is.
Oliviana, thank you so much for bringing us this information and keeping us up to date with everything that's happening out there with the Pope. We appreciate you. I know you got to get to some of the other stations. I'm going to let you go so you can do some more reporting and research. You guys, again, we still have so much more to talk about. Remember, we're keeping up to date with everything that we know about the Hantavirus, that virus, that outbreak that's going on around that cruise ship. In just a little bit, we're going to have a conversation with Kaylee Schuyler, who's from Fox News. She has been keeping her ear to the ground with everything, all the updates. One of the biggest questions that I know everybody was asking yesterday was, how would you know if you came into contact with someone, what are the symptoms of the Hantavirus? And as I learned, it's very close to flu-like symptoms. So you might have a headache, might have some breathing issues. The problem where you'll know it's a lot bigger of an issue is if you have chest pains. That's what I was reading into. And so I also want to make sure that I keep saying that leadership, officials, they are saying that this is not like COVID-19. It's not going to be like the pandemic that we experienced before. And again, later on in the show, we'll be going into why they believe that. I want to know if you guys believe them. I see more of you coming into the live stream chat. Once again, we've got somebody who says they don't know. They say keep them on the boat. Let's see, going back, we had a couple of other comments too. Someone said don't dock that boat. Someone said, another person said don't dock that boat as well. Y'all should have left them there. That was a comment from earlier. So again, we're getting a lot of mixed reactions, a lot of people who are upset and just confused about this situation ahead, and I completely understand that. But again, before we talk to Kaylee, I want to go back over some of the common nuts and bolts that I have been picking up since this story has really taken off. And remember, we're probably going to keep on hearing about this for the next couple of weeks. So April 1st is when we know that ship went off. Everybody is deciding they want to go on vacation, they want to have a good time. There were about 150 passengers on board, multiple crew members, and what we hear is that by April 11th, they already had a report that someone was sick and that someone had died. From there, they realized that what they had on board was an outbreak of something called the Hantavirus. From what I'm understanding, Hantavirus is something that you pick up when you inhale contaminants from rodent feces, urine, etc. However, this particular strain that we're seeing on that cruise ship goes by the Andes virus, and it just so happens to be the only strain of this virus that can be passed along person to person. And that's potentially why we have now seen multiple people confirmed to be dead, multiple people confirmed to be ill. So a lot of different countries, as all these people were just floating around in the water on that boat, a lot of these different countries did not want this cruise ship to dock where they are. Eventually, Spain, they said, yes, you guys can bring them to Canary Island. And I do believe that on Saturday, they will be making their way there. Medical professionals are going to come on board, look at all of the people, examine all of them before they're able to disembark. But we are hearing that they plan on letting people go home. I can tell you that we know a number of people who have been confirmed to be ill are being quarantined right now. Now, I don't know if it's a self-quarantine or this is an official thing. Maybe I will be able to ask Kaylee about that if she knows any more. The other thing that I know is that there are 3 states in which there have been issues that we're hearing now from. I believe one is Georgia, one being Arizona, and I think the other is California. So it seems so far we don't have any confirmation here in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware. So it's going to be very interesting. I see that Kaylee is up. It's ahead of our time. I want to make sure that she's ready for us. But okay, it looks like she is. Kaylee, we have a lot of questions for you on this, but let me get you set up around here. Health experts all around the globe, they are racing to stop the spread of the Hantavirus. I try to warm up our audience with letting them know what that is. We know that it's a deadly outbreak. It began on that cruise ship last month, but we're still seeing the effects of it this month. What do we know about the number of cases right now?
Hi. So yeah, right now the World Health Organization is reporting 8 cases so far that are linked back to this cruise ship, and 3 of those are unfortunately deaths. But it can take a few weeks for these symptoms to show up. So right now officials are rushing to try to track down all of these people who left the cruise ship back on April 24th at the St. Helena Islands. And they're trying to make sure that people are quarantining. They're trying to contact trace to prevent further spread of this viral illness right now. And so today, health officials tried to
address some of the online chatter that they've been hearing that this could be the next coronavirus.
But this is not the same situation we were in 6 years ago. It doesn't spread the same way like coronaviruses do. It's very different. It's that close, intimate contact that we've seen.
The disease is initially contracted from exposure to rodent droppings, but this specific strain of the Hantavirus can also be transmitted from close person-to-person contact. There are around 150 people still on board the cruise ship, and as you mentioned, it is set to dock at the Spanish Canary Islands on Saturday. The WHO says there is a clear plan once passengers get off to avoid putting people there at risk. And one travel influencer from Boston who is still on the ship has been posting about his experience on social media, writing on Instagram, quote, "While stricter precautions are now in place, passengers still have access to fresh air on the outer decks, meals can be delivered directly to cabins, and everyone on board continues to be cared for and supported. We now have 2 infectious disease physicians on board, and we are very grateful for their assistance and support throughout this situation." Now, according to health officials, we do have confirmation that there are at least 5 states that are monitoring people who were on this cruise ship and are now back in the U.S. Those states are California, Arizona, Texas, Georgia, and Virginia.
Okay, so once again, those questions, we're getting back to them. This was one that I didn't have the answer to. I didn't find it in my research. I'm just wondering if maybe you came across it. You talked about the quarantining. Is this self-quarantine for some of the people who already disembarked, or do we know if officials are included in that? Like, are they orchestrating it? Do we know?
Yeah, I heard you mention that before you came to me, and I am also not sure if this is something where people are doing it themselves or if they're being, medically pushed to do this quarantine. All I've really seen about this is that it is about a 6-week quarantine period because, again, there's no, medicine or fix for the Hantavirus right now. So it is interesting, though, because, again, it can take up to 8 weeks for symptoms to show.
Well, okay, thank you for walking us through that and being honest too about what information we have and what we don't. Another question that I have for you, we were able to get that message in from the Boston traveler, that influencer, and he seemed pretty calm for the situation that he's going through. Are you seeing that other passengers may be feeling the same thing, or are you seeing mixed reaction depending on who we hear from?
I think it's a little bit of mixed reaction because also the same influencer posted a video, I believe it was on Sunday, where he was pretty upset, and I actually couldn't get him to do an interview because he had had such negative reaction from the internet because I heard you talk about this as well. A lot of people don't want these passengers to get off of the ship, and again, it can be a very scary thing, but this does not spread like the flu or the coronavirus. So, I think we've seen a couple of passengers come out and speak, and it's just a very scary and interesting time. I can't imagine being stuck on a cruise ship for an unknown amount of time. But, yeah, I think right now everybody's just trying to do what they can to make sure they don't get it and they don't spread it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that at all. What's probably started out as dream vacation to paradise is all of a sudden turning into a nightmare. So I can only imagine how they're feeling as well. And I want to let you know too, we also tried to get one of those passengers that we had close contacts with to come on and speak, and same like him. They were very uncomfortable and didn't want to do it either, based on some of the reaction that they've been getting on social media as well. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens on Saturday. We're going to keep our ears to the ground. But Kaylee, thank you so much for breaking all this down. This was very helpful. It's a topic that everybody around the world, but especially here in the U.S., they're interested in. So I appreciate you giving us what you could.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, let's take back over here in Philadelphia. I hope we were able to answer a lot of the questions that you all had. Ooh, Kensley said, has anybody else been coughing for weeks? I have not, but Kensley, I think you should go see someone. Maybe we're not talking about we just talked about what's happening on the cruise ship. But if you're feeling some sort of symptoms for anything, I would suggest that you go and get checked out. All right, you guys are also keeping up to date with the Flyers game. I see someone say my name, Desiree says, "Go Flyers, fly high, let's win tonight." We also see someone saying Philly sports team needs to win it all. Absolutely, yes, we do. And then someone asked, can you watch the game here? We're not watching the game live here. If you really want to watch the game, unfortunately, you will have to go to one of the channels that has it. But we are going to keep you up to date on the score throughout the night, and we'll have analytics from one of our sports team members. So we're still going to bring all the energy and all the important information that you need as if you were watching the game right here on Philadelphia Live. You guys, ooh, someone says shout out from Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to Joanna. Thank you for joining us. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick step back. When we come back, we're going to talk about some more of the biggest news happening all around the U.S. We'll be right back. Welcome to Philadelphia Live, you guys. If you're just now joining us in the live stream chat, we got a lot to talk to you about today, including some trending news. We also got our question of the night. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to Eddie, who's joining us on TikTok. He says that his graduation is coming up, his high school graduation. I just wanted to say congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you are so close to the finish line. You're about to make it. Congratulations. That's great. Okay, so Jake, I posed a question to the people. We posed the question to our larger audience.
Yes.
I heard and saw a report today that tomorrow, U.S. State Department will start revoking passports for people who haven't paid their child support.
Okay.
And so let's talk about the amount.
Okay,
$100,000 in debt. If you're $100,000 in debt or more, they're going to take that passport away. And right now they say there's about 2,700 people that they're expecting to do that to. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, since making that announcement, they say that people have already started making payments.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So people say they don't want that to happen. They've got probably some summer plans.
Yes.
But the other second-fold part of that, they're saying that pretty soon, from $100,000, they're also going to start taking passports away from people who owe even $2,500. That's a big jump, a huge jump.
That is a big jump.
So, you know, life happens. I can imagine that it's easy if you miss, depending on how many children you have, if you miss at least a month's worth of payments, maybe 2 months, that could be you.
Yeah.
So, very big, very big.
Yes.
So we asked the people, you know, what did they think?
Yes.
Is this too far?
Yeah.
I'll let you take over.
Yeah, so we ran a poll. As usual, you can find it, fox29.com/go vote. always under the Fox Local tab. So basically we said, is revoking a passport, is that an appropriate penalty for not paying child support? So 76% people say yes, 18% of people say no, and 6 people are like mix and leaving a comment. So the money amount is very interesting. Maybe the people watching, that'll add a new layer of context, because I think it does really make a difference if you're behind a lot versus 2,500.
Yes.
So we have a lot of good comments coming in on our socials. Yes. So I'm going to read some of them. So Jennifer said, when I worked in family law, we could have the court issue bench warrants for unpaid child support and license suspension. So kind of a perspective from that angle. Someone said, so this is kind of the popular argument. Angelique said, if a non-custodial parent has money to travel abroad, then they have money to pay child support. So that's the big kind of argument for why they think this is an appropriate thing. So
I mean, okay, so there have been a couple of points already made that I just want to expand upon. So, one woman who said that when she worked as attorney?
Yeah, she said family law.
Family law. She had mentioned that some of the other penalties, so taking away your passport's one thing. You could go to jail.
Yes.
Could get your license taken away.
Yes.
They could start garnishing your wages.
Yes.
So, I mean, not having a passport, you don't have to travel.
Right, exactly.
But you need your license to do quite a bit. So,
yes.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, it definitely is one of those things that I feel like should vary case by case situations. You know, if there's someone who's really trying to pay the child support, maybe falling behind a little bit, should they be penalized as someone who's like blatantly not paying it? So
that's valid. Yeah, like $100,000 is just crazy. That just means I don't care
yeah.
about it. But the other thing to keep in mind here too is that the other side of this argument are children who are not getting the money that they need for school, to eat, diapers,
yes.
all of that
yes.
stuff. And so there are, I can imagine, some people that are just like, well, take care of the kid.
Right.
That's a simple thing right there. Or
yes.
try to get it so that you can get a lower payment each month,
yes.
which is possible. You can go back to the court system and
yes.
say, this is too much for me, I can't handle it, and see what happens there. Really interesting. I wonder if anybody on my Instagram has been weighing in too. And you guys weigh in the TikTok comment section.
Yeah,
actually, I'm seeing that they already are. Okay, hold on. Someone said lower
a lot
it
of
for
yeses.
Sure. Oh, someone agreed with the person on Facebook. If you owe child support, you can't afford a vacation. Let's see.
The work visa thing is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, this person says unless it's a work visa and it's for work and work only. So they're saying if you need that passport to go work, because whatever it is that you do is outside of the country,
yes.
maybe there should be some
right.
leeway for you. Do you guys agree with that sentiment? Let me know. Let's see. Oh, Powerplug says they already do it in Massachusetts. They take your passport and your driver's license. So yes, I do want to be clear that before the U.S. State Department, they did have something very, very similar.
Okay.
Where you could not renew your passport if you were behind.
Right.
Now they will starting tomorrow, they will take your passport away.
Okay.
If you're already out there, out and abroad, you will not be able to use it. And let me tell the people too, let's say you already are on vacation and you just found this out. It's not like you're stuck in the country. You'll have to go to the U.S. Embassy and try to get a temporary travel document.
Okay.
And then they'll let you pass through.
Okay.
But you won't be able to leave the U.S. again until you pay that, whatever your debt is.
Okay.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, people must be interested because the poll numbers have been changing as we're speaking. So as we said, you know, if you want to get involved, we have a QR code right there, or you could just go to fox29.com/go vote, Fox Local tab.
Please go ahead and vote and also weigh in, because as you can see, it's clear that there are so many different opinions, different perspectives, and this is helping the conversation as well.
100%. It's really interesting to hear everyone's voice and what they think, and it's a good conversation.
Yes. Brenda says, yes, pay that child support. All right. Thank you guys for weighing on in. In a little while, we'll also touch base with some of the trending stories, figuring out what you guys care about. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you scrolling on and typing in the comment section on? We'll be getting into all of that and more. Let's take a quick step back. When we come back, I want to talk to you guys about some of the biggest things happening in our region. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. We got so much going on. I just want to acknowledge someone in the live stream chat. They asked if we report on New Jersey news, which yes, we do. If it's happening, if it's live, we're there. I want to let you all know right now they're saying that there was a man who is still out there on the loose. They say that he stole a vehicle and with children still inside of it, that this happened at a Wawa out in New Jersey. I let you all know that I am trying to get more information on this for you all, and I'll be able to report it live in just a little bit. But we did hear that that was happening. I just don't have all the details in front of me. So we'll work on it and try to get it out there. Thank you so much for suggesting that that's something that you wanted so that we can get what we can for you. All right, I heard from a little birdie that we've got this live shot ready. I want to see if we can try to bring you all out to it. One of my colleagues, Chris O'Connell, is emceeing a pretty great event right now as we speak. It's called Handcrafters. So long story short, they're a really great organization based in our area in Pennsylvania. They're having a charity gala tonight, and of course, or excuse me, a charity gala tonight, and Chris, again, is their MC. This is the 60th anniversary for that nonprofit. I see it looks like they're setting up. Let's see if we can listen in to the room real quick. All right, so we've got some nice ambient noise to bring you all as I talk to you a little bit more about it. This is a charity gala, as I mentioned. It's happening right now in Chester County for an organization called Handcrafters. So what they do, it's a nonprofit that provides meaningful employment for people who have disabilities. They're able to work at a number of different places. Some of them are live in the room as we speak. This is a really nice event that they have. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the decorations on the table. They really outdid themselves decorating in there. So congratulations to you all for 60 years of hard work, of making sure that everyone, people know they matter, and also for inviting Chris on out there to, grace the audience. It's a great opportunity. I'm glad that we're able to show you guys what's happening out there. A little later on, they may have some speakers and whatnot. We'll see if we can show you all what's happening in there throughout the night. But let's also keep our eyes on some of the things that are happening across Pennsylvania as well, including the Flyers game right now at Xfinity Mobile Arena. We know the Flyers are taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. This is Game 3, Round 2. Let's try to do a score check real quick to let you all know what's happening. We're hoping that, oh, I'm sorry, the game starts literally right now. It is 8 o'clock on the dot. I was a little ahead of myself. I thought we were a couple of minutes in, but the game should be getting started underway right now. They should be hitting the ice as we speak, and we are hoping for a big win tonight. We also keep our eyes on what's happening with the Phillies. They're playing the A's tonight, and that score doesn't look so pretty. A's are leading 8-1. It's not great, but we're only in the top of the 5th. I'm going to be hopeful that it's still anyone's game. We'll be checking in with our sports team a little later on just to see how we're doing there. I want to bring you guys some of the biggest news that I can. I don't know if you heard, but Mayor Sherrell Parker from Philly actually signed 6 of 7 ICE out bills here in Philadelphia. The only one that she didn't sign was the one that addresses a mask ban. So again, she signed 6 of the 7 bills that would limit how ICE operates here in Philadelphia, and actually whether they could operate at all. Here are some of the key provisions that I want to point out for you all. So one is ending all ICE collaboration. So it prohibits the city from entering some of the specific contracts honoring ICE detainers or providing local assistance for federal immigration interrogations and raids. Then we've got another provision. This one secures data privacy. It prevents the city from sharing sensitive databases, data sets, or personal information with federal agencies for immigration enforcement purposes. Another one protects community spaces. So this requires judicial warrants for ICE to access non-public city facilities, which includes hospitals, libraries, recreation centers. It also bans the use of city property for ICE staging or arrests. Another one stops discrimination. This one establishes immigration and citizenship status as protected classes under the Fair Practices Ordinance to prohibit discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations. Banning deceptive tactics. This one ensures transparency by prohibiting law enforcement from wearing masks or using unmarked vehicles to obscure their identities during public interactions. Again, the only one that she did not sign was the one that has to do with the masks. But she did sign those bills today, and we'll see how the city of Philadelphia reacts. I would like to know if you guys want to weigh in. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about this. Do you think she did the right thing? Do you think maybe this wasn't supposed to happen? It's, again, very, very interesting as we continue keeping our eyes on that one. I'm sure we'll have an article available for you guys on the Fox 29 website as well as the Fox Local app. Now, I don't know if you all heard about this over in Maryland. It was a very, very big case. A man was convicted of child sexual abuse and rape charges, and he was sentenced today in Prince George's County in the courtroom. Again, that's out in Maryland. His name is Cleophas Canton. He's 60 years old. He was convicted on 9 counts of charges ranging from sexual abuse of a minor to rape and second-degree sex offense. So now, what's really important for me to point out about this case is they say that these crimes took place over a period of decades. So the survivors of his abuse, they spoke out after what they say was justice being served. I want to let you listen in to just one of those women had to say.
Hello, my name is Brittany. After 25 years, I decided to take my abuser to court because I was speaking up for the child in me, the child that wasn't seen, the teenager that wasn't heard. It took me 33 years to actually fit the pieces in that just wasn't, it just was missing. And I didn't understand why. It was because of this trauma that happened to me. Please, please, please listen to your kids. Protect your kids. When you don't have anybody around your kids that you don't trust. And if your kids are speaking up saying that somebody is hurting them, please take action. It took me 25 years to get here. I never thought I would have justice or anything. And excuse these raw emotions, but it just took after 25 years, and it feels so good to finally get justice. And I want whoever else is out there, please, please speak up, because he deserves accountability. 165 plus whatever else you need to add. Get your justice. You speak up for yourself. Speak up for that child that couldn't speak up. You speak up for yourself now. Grown me is so proud of baby Brittany. Grown me is so proud of teenager Brittany. I did it. With the help of my sisters, I did it. And I thank my therapist as well, Miss Jasmine Harrington. She hasn't gotten back to me, but if you see Miss Harrington, I thank you so much for listening to that and saying that I don't care how long it's been. You saying that happened when you was a child. I'm going to report it. And I was like, I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know. You don't know. So after 25 years, here we are. So please speak up. Protect yourselves. Sexual abuse, that is not normal. We are breaking generational curses in every family. Yes. We are speaking up. We are protecting our kids. Yes. No more. My daughter is safe. I am safe now. Brittany, you are safe. Y'all are safe. And thank you so much.
This ended up being an extremely emotional press conference, and afterwards, I just want you to see this moment that took place right after they finished, after those survivors talked. You can see they are wrapping their arms around each other, they are cheering, and they are telling each other, you did it. You see the smiles on their faces, just how excited they are. So I just want to let you all know, again, they say that this man, the 60-year-old man, abused multiple victims that spanned over a decade. They say that one victim was abused from ages 8 to 16. So again, you see them releasing whatever that hurt, that pain that they felt. They're able to laugh and they're able to move on with their lives. So that was something big that happened in Maryland that I wanted to share with you all. Also want to bring you to Tennessee, because earlier today we learned that Republicans out in Tennessee approved a new House map. This is something that we have been talking about for about a week now. Multiple states are going through issues with redistricting. I've been bringing up the term gerrymandering a lot. So in Tennessee, it has now been approved that they will be able to redraw their maps. And why that's an issue for some people is because one of the districts that's going to be, turned around with this was a majority black voting district. And so now with things being changed, they're hoping to include more diverse groups into this area. Now, Republicans say that this was necessary because the current maps don't necessarily reflect the current population. They say the census data showed them that how people were voting based on that area did not match what they were actually seeing at the ballot box. And Democrats say that this is, as you see on the screen, a shame, something that should have never happened. They say right now we are in all-out battle against the Voting Rights Act that was put into law when the civil rights movement was going on. So they say that we have undone decades and decades and decades worth of work from some of our ancestors. I want to let you listen in to Senator Charlene Oliver. She's a Democrat from Tennessee. She went off. She spoke for about 20 minutes. I only clipped about 3 of those minutes for you all, but let's listen into what she had to say once that vote was made.
I rise today with a heavy heart, but with ice in my veins. There are people watching today who are descendants of people who were beaten on bridges, jailed in courthouses, murdered in churches, not for committing crimes, but for trying to vote, for trying to have a say in who represents them, for trying to be counted as full human beings in a democracy that was built in no small part on the forced labor of our ancestors. Those people are watching today, Mr. Speaker, and I want them to know, if you are watching, I hear you, I see you, and I feel you.
and I will not be silent today on your behalf. We have come to this special session like it's business as usual. There is nothing normal about what we are doing this week. Nothing normal about what we are doing today. What has bothered me the most this week is we have a body predominantly made up of people who will never know what it's like to have your rights taken away. You will never know what it's like to struggle. You've never known what it's like to have the talk with your son because of the laws you passed prey on black boys. How to act when you get pulled over by the police. You'll never know what it's like to have the conversation with your daughter because her hair grows a little different out of her head like your daughter's. And I have to tell her, don't let nobody touch your hair. That is our crown. You will never know what it's like because it's always been given to you. You've never had to struggle to be seen, not as 3/5 of a human, but as a full person with self-agency in this country.
Now, like I said, she spoke for about 20 minutes before they cut her mic off. She then got on top of her desk, pulled out a giant sign that said, "No Jim Crow 2.0, stop the TN steal," TN meaning Tennessee. There were a lot of people in the back, a lot of protesters. Yes, protests have already started. There were a lot of protesters in the back. They had air horns. They were screaming. They literally turned off all the mics on that live stream. It got super quiet. And then eventually they ended up ending the session, and then they all went out. So again, protests have begun. Tennessee is going to be an interesting place to watch for the next couple of weeks. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people trying to appeal the decision, but so far what I can tell you is, it has been made. The Republicans did approve that new map. It should go in, and of course that's going to affect how the primaries turn out. So essentially what Democrats are saying is that the Republicans just wanted to be able to turn that particular part of the state red. So we'll keep our eyes on it too. We know Tennessee is not the only state going through this. Louisiana. I think we've also been keeping our eyes on Virginia. There are a lot of different states as well, some that aren't coming to mind right now, but a lot of other states, 8 that have adopted new congressional districts. All right, so let's keep the ball rolling. I want to get into this thing. We saw it in part yesterday unfold out here on this stream. Out in California, there was like this huge drug bust, and I promised you guys I would figure out more about it. Well, the Department of Justice spoke today with the DEA, and they spoke about this large drug bust where they were able to find meth, fentanyl, and a couple of other things. We'll get into it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Remember, yesterday there was a big drug bust out in California. We're now learning today that 11 people have been arrested in D.C. They were charged for running this complex network that smuggled large amounts of meth and then something called GBL, which apparently turns into the date rape drug when it's in your system. They say they got these drugs from South Korea, brought them to Washington, D.C., and then they were putting them all along the East Coast. I want to let you listen in. The Department of Justice, they spoke about it earlier today. They were joined by the DEA. Here's what they had to say about this case.
That we have charged. All of these defendants face a mandatory minimum of life, of 10 years and up to life on count one. Now, let me note that one of the defendants we have just been able to identify by the name of Artemio Jacoba Magana. He is an illegal. We are trying to find out exactly where he is from, but we are continuing to execute search warrants, and there is no question that this will actually spring out to more cases. Now, I'd like to call on some of our partners in this takedown, and we couldn't have done it without them. First, I'm going to ask DEA Washington Division Special Agent in Charge, Christopher Gomenes, to speak. Hi, Chris.
Thank you, Judge. It's tough going after Hirsch, one of the best people out there.
I'm
So, thank you, Judge. Look, it's an honor for DEA to be here today and to stand alongside our many partners, HSI, U.S. Postal Service, IRS, of course, U.S. Attorney's Office. We'd like to thank President Trump in particular for the opening the door for this type of collaboration. This takedown is a direct result of partnerships that were born out of executive orders such as Making D.C. Safe and Beautiful, as well as the Homeland Security Task Force. DEA has been committed to a safer capital, a safer nation's capital, since day one. When asked to serve and in what capacity, DEA will always answer the call. Under the leadership of Administrator Cole, we started almost a year ago when he was the interim police commissioner. And under his leadership, along with President Trump, we're continuing into what you see today with the Homeland Security Task Forces, the Safe and Beautiful Task Force, everything else. DEA Washington Division initiated this investigation into this D.C.-based crew and organization after the death of one of our DMV residents.
Okay, you guys, we're going to put a pin in this. We'll come back to it, but I do want to let you know President Donald Trump is actually speaking live right now. He's doing a national mall visit. Let's see if we can take it and listen in.
He's cared more, invested more, or put more time and attention into everything about the mall. When he drives around, if he sees something, he calls us. We call the Amazing National Park Service. They're on it. They fix it up. That's why we're fixing over 19 fountains around the city. That's why we've eliminated over 1,000 graffiti sites. Under President Trump's leadership, we've taken care of 82 homeless camps that were in the city when he was elected. Making D.C. safe and beautiful. Crime is down, beauty is up, all because of President Trump's leadership.
So very big, thank you, Doug, great job. Your people are fantastic. The whole Department of Interior, the parks, this has been amazing, and the police. Yes. The police have been incredible. You know, we have a very safe city now. We didn't have a safe city when I first took second term. It was a disaster what happened, and we now have a very safe city. People walk around, they love it. Frankly, doing this would be no good if we didn't have a safe city, but the crime, I think it's down about 88%, something like that, and Memphis too, and if you go down to New Orleans, we spent, I guess we're in the fifth month, and we have it down about 78%. It's going down to 90%. Memphis is way down. But D.C., I don't know, it's the capital, and we had a very, very terrible crime right here, and it's down now. We're going to have it down. I think we'll get it above 92% down. We took 5,000 career criminals, people that were really, really bad. They came through the open border. I'm sure you guys love open borders. I don't think so. But they came through on the open borders. They came out of prisons and mental institutions, and they came all over the place, and it is horrible what happened. That they allowed this to happen to our country. But we got them out, and we had 11,888 murderers allowed into our country. We got them out. We got many of them out. We're looking for quite a few, but we got many of them out. And the crime rate is, as you know, the murder rate in the country is down to the lowest it's ever. It's down to, in 1900, 125 years, lowest in recorded history. And that's good. So we're very happy about that. And that goes hand in hand with fixing things up. So as Doug said, I heard 19 or a lot of founders, about 19, maybe more than that. Lafayette Park is beautiful. I made that contribution. It's a pretty significant contribution. And Lafayette Park is being rebuilt. We have tremendous amounts of things going on around Lincoln. I think, to me, the most exciting of all is going to be the Triumphal Arch. We're going to build one of the most beautiful arcs in the world. If you look at Paris, in Paris, they have the Arc de Triomphe. It's their #1 tourist attraction, even more so than the Eiffel Tower. And we're going to have one that's more grand, even more grand, because that's one of, I would say that's the best right now. There are 59 Triumphal Arcs throughout the world, and this will be number 60. Many of them are very old. Some are 600, 700 years old, and they represented triumph. They're usually a victory, a military victory, but we are going to have one that's going to be, I think, superior to anybody else's. It's going to be a little bit larger, and I think a lot more beautiful. So, and that's going to start, I would say, very soon. It was supposed to be built, you know, the circle by the bridge, by the river. It's going to be, I think it's going to be something that will be so special. It's been there like that. It used to be a dirt path, and it wasn't built because of the Civil War. Civil War got in the way. The Eagles are up. They were built later, but the Eagles are up. But they haven't been. It hasn't been built, and people a lot of times they'll be going over the river, the bridge, and they'll be saying, "Why isn't this built?" And they've been saying that for way over 100 years. So you're going to have something built there. So we're really fixing up Washington, D.C. on a bigger front, even bigger front. Worldwide, our military is unbelievable. They're doing an unbelievable job. We're negotiating with the Iranians. We have, you probably heard, we took our 3 destroyers and we rammed them through some pretty big stuff today, and we knocked the hell out of them. The destroyers weren't hurt in any way. The people weren't hurt, but they were firing at us, and we were firing back at them. And our firepower was a hell of a lot stronger than theirs, and they knocked the hell out of them. They took down a lot of small boats. You know, we call them small boats or fast boats. They're both small and they're fast, with some weaponry on the front. You know, this is what. So this is now replacing the Navy. They had a Navy 159 boats. They have none. Okay, they're all at the bottom of the sea. So they replace that with what they call the fast boat. It's a fast boat. Big deal. It's fast. It's got a machine gun in front. They've been knocked down. They knocked out quite a few of them today. Yesterday they knocked down 8. They average 8 a day. This is some group of people we're dealing with. So, you know, it's very simple. Somebody said, "What's your plan?" I said, the plan is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It cannot have a nuclear bomb, and it's not going to have. And they're really at the end of the line. They really are at the end of the line. Now, unless you guys feel differently. Now, these guys, I think, will say that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Would you say? We wouldn't feel very good if they did, because this, what you're doing and all the work that you do and that we do, it wouldn't look too very good after a while with these characters. We're not going to give them the right to have a nuclear weapon. There's zero chance. And they know that, and they've agreed to that. Let's see if they are willing to sign it. So do you have any questions, Liz?
Mr. President, you talked about your meeting with President Lula earlier. Was there anything agreed on?
Yeah, I will talk about it, but you know, you have some of these construction workers that I love. I love them because they all voted for me. I would say 100% or 99. I think 100%. 100. I think about 100. Yes, sir. Can we get those guys over here so they're not standing? We're on. Oh, there they are. I saw you over there. There's no way I'm leaving you out there, fellas. So who didn't vote for Trump? Anybody? Thank you. I think
we're from Oklahoma.
I would say that's right.
We're from Oklahoma.
We love you guys. We just said, you agree, Iran cannot have.
Yes, sir.
I love that guy.
Did you know they're?
Are you from Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Trump won Oklahoma 77 counties.
Yes, sir.
I won all 77, right?
did.
I won it in a landslide, like the election. But you know who second was? Ronald Reagan was at 56. I was at 77. And by the way, you have a very good basketball team.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
was
sir.
watching the other night. But I may try and come to one of those games. I like your basketball team. These guys are fantastic. So they're doing the job. They're working hard. And they agree. Does anybody think Iran should have a nuclear weapon so they can blow you up?
No.
It's a very important thing that we're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
And oil is coming down, and the stock market today just hit an all-time high. You know, I was reading about doom and gloom. We had to do what we did. We took a little U-turn. We just hit the highest number in the history of our country in the stock market. And I said to my people, we're going to have to take a little U-turn and go to the lovely country of Iran and blow them up a little bit because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they're not. We're not going to ruin you. These guys work so hard to make things beautiful. We're not going to let a nuclear weapon ruin it. So, thank you. Are you all from Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
How did that work out? They wanted super quality, right?
That's right. Yes, sir. We bring quality. Oklahoma brings quality.
We love it. He's doing a good job, Mark Wayne. You know, Mark Wayne could have been a senator for the rest of his life. Maybe could have been president. Who the hell knows? I don't recommend it. But he was your senator, and he wanted to do this. He wanted to work with a man named Tom Homan, who I'm sure you never heard of. But he's done a job. So, Tom, how good a president is Trump?
Greatest president of my lifetime.
Yes, sir.
But
I
he's
got
a
a
young
question.
man.
I got a question. Are you all legal?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You know what? Actually, from Oklahoma, the answer is probably yes.
Indian.
Yes,
sir.
That's
Talk
right.
talk.
So are you here pretty much until this gets finished?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Are you with the company, with the contract?
I'm with those two men behind you. Yes,
That's
sir.
good. That's good. You got a good-looking crew back there, fellas, huh? Yep. Thank you, sir.
I'm from
Mr. President,
Plain,
you are
Oklahoma.
here against the backdrop of the war in Iran. Why focus on all these projects right now?
You know why? Because I want to keep our country beautiful and safe. Beautiful also. This place was a disgusting place. It was Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and we had a terrible disgust. I don't know, you probably don't see dirt, but I do. And you walk down this pond, if you would have walked down, they'll tell you better than anybody. They had to take 11 or 12 truckloads of garbage out of that lake, out of that water, and it sat there for years like that. And that's not what our country is about. Our country is about beauty, cleanliness, safety, great people, not a filthy capital. And such a stupid question that you asked. We're fixing up the reflecting pond to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand dirt maybe better than I can, but I don't allow it. This is one of the worst reporters. She's with ABC Fake News, and she's a horror show. She's saying, why would you bother fixing this up? Why would I bother taking 11 or 12 truckloads of filth out of the water in front of the Lincoln Monument? That's what made our country great. Beauty made our country. People made our country great. A question like that is a disgrace to our country. Any other questions?
Mr. President, I'm also with ABC News.
Fake news.
Hantavirus. Have you been briefed on the virus?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us what you learned in these briefings?
Well, I think you're going to be told everything, and you already have. It's very much, we hope, under control. It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people are studying it. It should be fine. We hope.
Should Americans be concerned that it's going to spread? And how are you
I hope
looking to
not.
get
I
those
mean, I hope
Americans
not. We'll do the
home?
best we can, yeah.
To get the Americans that are on
Go ahead.
Mr. President, to detail your meeting with President Lula today, was there anything agreed on between the
No,
two
we had
of
a
you?
great meeting with the president of Brazil. We're doing a lot of trading, and we're going to do some increased trading. We talked about tariffs. We talked about, they would like to have some tariff relief. But we had a very good meeting. He's a good man. He's a smart guy.
Mr. President, after these
strikes.
Okay, hold on, you guys. I want to let you all know that there's another live event happening at this moment in time as well. It just so happens that former Vice President Kamala Harris is also talking. There's an event, it's a fireside chat happening in Nevada. The Nevada Democrats have gotten together. This is all live in Las Vegas. We'll be able to show you and let you listen into this live in just a little bit. We're going to take a quick step back. We're going to check in on how the Flyers are doing. See if Trump is still talking. If he is, we'll go out to the president. We'll check in on the vice president, and we'll continue this live stream ahead. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You guys remember there are two very big events happening right now as we speak. President Donald Trump is speaking about the reflection pool. They are replacing the flooring there, and he's been talking about this operation and what's going on with the construction crew. And then we're also hearing that former Vice President Kamala Harris is live for us right now in Nevada. The Democrats are leading a fireside chat, and she's giving some insight there. But first, I wanted to check in real quick on how the Flyers are doing back home. Let's check in on how we're making it out with hockey. Marcus, what's going on?
So as of right now, it is still scoreless. We are just over the midway point in the first period. Again, tied 0-0. The Flyers have been very aggressive. They've had a lot of early chances in which a couple of shots have actually hit off the post. So they're this close in terms of getting a couple scores. Just like how in Game 2 they had an early lead and were attacking early, they're doing the same thing, and the fans are loving it. But right now, as of right now, it is still scoreless. Flyers are actually on a power play where they have a one-man advantage, so hopefully they'll be able to take advantage of that.
Sounds good to me. I mean, we'll see what happens ahead. As you mentioned, still no score. Let's see how the Phillies are doing real quick. Are they doing any better?
You don't want to go into that. Yeah,
Ooh.
No, they are currently down 10-1 in the 7th inning. Yeah. Andrew Painter, he pitched less than 4 innings, gave up 8 runs off of 7 hits. Not a good night for him. The only run was a Kyle Schwarber home run, so take that with what you will. But yeah, as you can see, top of the 7th, 10-1. Not good. You know what? How you're looking right now is how I'm feeling.
How did we get here?
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a great game. What happened?
We've been beating the A's like this. Like, it's now just, it's topsy-turvy day apparently. But yeah, it's not looking good.
You know, you guys tell me all the time that this is what happens in baseball. Sometimes you have a really good game. Sometimes you don't have a really good game.
There are 162 games in the year. You're going to have ones like these, unfortunately. Just not a good outing. Hopefully it's a learning experience, though. I mean, Painter's very young. He is a rookie, so hopefully he's able to learn off of this. But, yeah, this is one of those bitter pills to swallow, which is why this city needs the Flyers to win tonight, because I mean, with the Sixers being down 2-0 and then the Phillies, I mean, they've been doing pretty well the last 10 days, but this one's not so good. So yeah, fans are got to be real hopeful for the Flyers tonight.
Be careful going home tonight. I will as well.
I was gonna say you as well.
All right, you guys, let's get back into some other things happening. Marcus, thank you for your insight. Hey, I wanted to remind you all, we are watching both the president, he is speaking right now on the flooring being put into the reflecting pool. And then, of course, we also know that former Vice President Kamala Harris is also speaking. I apologize. The Nevada Democrats are holding a fireside chat. We got to listen in to the president speak. Let's dip in to see what Kamala's talking about.
We certainly are. Whatever influence that we may have had to talk about issues like human rights, democracy, we're losing our influence. And what that will mean is extraordinary in terms of America's security and prosperity. Because, you know, let's remember, when America isolated ourselves, we have a history of this. And then Pearl Harbor happened. And then we decided, oh, we can't go it alone and disregard what's happening in the world. So I'm very concerned about it. And, you know, when you look at this war in Iran, which the American people do not want, which was not authorized by conference, but even if it was, it should not have been initiated. He talked about obliterating, and then he said, oh, he did. It's all just bullshit. You made me do that. I promised I'm not going to curse in public anymore.
We're in a room amongst friends.
You made me do that. She was over here, just say it. But what is happening though is we are not only losing our authority, we are literally engaged where we're talking about billions of dollars, where we're talking about gas prices going up, where we're talking about the American people suffering. And for what? And that's, you know, this is part of how we have to understand how the irresponsibility of this administration is profound. And by the way, back to the analogy about friendships. So as vice president, I also spent a lot of time in the context of the Indo-Pacific and in the Indo-Pacific. I traveled and spent a lot of time with the leaders of Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia. Because, you know, we here on this coast of the country, we know that our relationship to the Indo-Pacific is a direct one. And so I spent time with the leaders of those nations, understanding that where we can have and find common ground, we must. So they have pretty much completely abandoned that focus. And as we all know, nature abhors a vacuum. So guess who's moving on in? Somebody asked me recently, where does China fit into all this? And I kind of flippantly said, well, they're just sitting back eating the popcorn. But really what's happening is they're moving in to fill a void. I spent time as vice president working on changing the narrative between the relationship of the United States of America with the continent of Africa. That it should not only be about aid, but it should be about partnership. Understanding that by 2050, it is estimated that 1 in 4 people on Earth will be on the continent of Africa. You know how he talks about African nations? Our adversary, Russia. You want to know who's the big winner on the Iranian war? Russia. Because of the oil issue, what has he done? He's lifted sanctions on Russia. You know what that means? They're making money to sell oil that otherwise they were prevented from selling. What else does it mean? We're sending artillery, ammunition, air defense that otherwise would be going to Ukraine. So the consequences are profound. You're talking about taking over Greenland, which is a territory of Denmark, which is a NATO ally. So, but he's not I'm not going to dismiss him as being an idiot. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. And America's security and prosperity are in the hands and on the line in terms of what he does and does not do. Greenland, anything we want and would have wanted, we could get diplomatically. And you're talking about, Article 5 of the NATO, so I know y'all didn't want to hear all this, but I'm just going to share it with you. Look, the NATO alliance, right, it is the strongest military alliance the world has ever known. And there's a part of it, Article 5, which basically is kind of like all for one and one for all. If you are a NATO ally, if we are both NATO allies and you get attacked, I'm stepping up to help you. Article 5. Okay? So if we're talking about initiating a military action in Greenland, that would ignite Article 5. But the second point, probably more importantly to make, do you know the only nation of all the NATO allies who has ever benefited from Article 5? Us, when our allies stepped up to support us after 9/11. So it's going to take a while, and I have traveled out of the country a couple times since the election, and here's what I will say, and then we can move on to another subject. But one of the things that I also know from my work internationally is the strength of the relationship between nations. Yes, it is dependent on all of the things we've discussed. Yes, it is also dependent on the relationship between leaders. And I do believe what fortifies it most importantly is the sense of the connection between the people of nations. And that's where we all come into play. That's where we all come into play. So we're talking about the midterms. People around the world watch what happens in our elections, obviously, and not only the election for president. So the work that we, the American people, do around these midterms will be part of what we signal about what we care about and who we are, and that we in this room, have not abandoned our connection to our ideals and principles and values, right?
And speaking of the midterms, because you've referenced, our NATO allies having, memories of the abuse of power, and I'm hoping after these midterms, abuse of power becomes a distant memory when we win back the House and the Senate, right?
But it's not going to be easy, guys. It's not going to be easy. They are throwing all kinds of obstacles in our way. That decision from the Supreme Court on the Voting Rights Act.
It's my next question for you.
Great.
Yeah. So last week, the Supreme Court threw a devastating blow, right, hammering the Voting Rights Act. How do you think that's going to play into the midterm elections?
I think it's going to have a profound effect. You already have seen. Look, first of all, so I was interviewed recently, and they said, the first question was, because it was the day of it happening, and they said, well, when you first heard about it, what did you think? And because I was in California, we're on Pacific Standard Time, it was really early in the morning. And again, pardon my language, but so the first thing I heard about it was at the crack of dawn, and I was like, shit, I thought this was going to happen in June. I didn't think it was going to, because normally a lot of the big cases come down in June. Okay, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I just pay attention. So So part of, to answer the question, the midterms, why did they come down with this decision so early? To give all those states, you see what's happened, Mississippi, Tennessee most recently, Louisiana, so they could pull together what they need to do around redrawing their lines. You saw just what happened in Tennessee. To redraw those lines, to get those ballots printed for the midterms. Understand what's happening. I was in North Carolina. And let me tell you, I went to go visit a group of students because I'd been reading about how they're organizing around voting. These students attend North Carolina A&T. It is the largest HBCU in America. These young leaders have been organizing because the officials there took their polling place from the campus. Whereas we raise our children, especially when they hit that age, college age, whether they're in college or not, where we want them to set up good habits. We know that that's the stage at which you will develop your patterns for what you'll do in your life. So we want, don't we? We want that our young people will have as part of their pattern that they vote every election, whoever they vote for. They took their polling place. And then when I met with them, they shared with me, so they organized and went up to the Capitol to go speak. And do you know what they were told in the chamber? You only have 5 minutes. I'm not finished. You only have 5 minutes to leave. The arrogance of the brutality of this attack on voting rights. And so we should, by all accounts, based on merit, win the midterms. But it is not going to be easy. People say to me, well, you think they're going to cancel the elections? No, I don't. Because if you thought no Kings rallies were a big deal, people will definitely take to the streets. I don't think they're going to do that. What they're doing systematically is making it more difficult for people to vote. Look at the SAVE Act. So the SAVE Act that they keep pushing. So what that would do is for new registrants to vote, to prove your identity, you'd have to have a birth certificate or a passport. Well, passports cost at least $100 to get. So can you say poll tax? Right? If you are one of over 60 million women in America who changed your name when you were married, the name then on your birth certificate is going to be different than the name on your driver's license or your ID. Have fun going through that bureaucracy to try and reconcile that. And it's already difficult enough to try and take time off, especially if you work in 2 or 3 jobs or you have 2 or 3 children. So this is what's at play. They're making it intentionally more difficult for people to vote because they know people are not stupid and are paying attention to the cost of gas and the cost of housing and the cost of this war and the cost of the brutality on vulnerable people who deserve to have a government that lifts them up instead of beating them down. So let's get ready for this. This election upcoming in Nevada is going to be so important. Aaron Ford winning for governor is going to be so important. You winning all these state races, because you know so much of what's been happening is about this shift of power around local and state government. So while we always pay attention to the presidential, which we must, these local races, these state races around the country, and I will say, candidly, I think that's where, the Democratic Party could have done much better around paying attention to local and statewide elections and issues and supporting that. Because that's where this is all coming. It's bubbling up from a long-standing agenda that they've had to invest in those areas so that now you have these state legislators who are doing things like telling those students at North Carolina A&T, you have 5 minutes to get out. So we have work to do, but we know how to do that work. We know how to do that work. It's like, good, okay, so this is our fight? All right, I got it, right? Just tell me what the fight is, and then I know what to put on, right?
Well, speaking of midterms, and what I see now is a room of fired up Democrats ready, right? Ready? And thank you for firing them up. And we get a lot of people asking us, what can they do? You know, people are frustrated and they want to know, what can we do? Well, you can vote, right? But we obviously have midterms ahead of us. And here in Nevada, we have reproductive rights on the ballot again.
Yes.
It's the second time. We need to pass it this time. We passed it the first time, but we need to pass it the second time to codify it.
Right.
So Nevada is a state that prides itself on protecting choice. And we've been doing that since Roe v. Wade was overturned. But we kept telling everyone, this isn't the end. They're going to keep coming after choice. They're going to keep coming after choice. And we saw that they just did again. So what would you tell people who want to get involved? What can they do right now in this moment?
Well, part of it is, again, the power that okay, let me just step back. There's so much about this moment that has made people feel all those emotions, from anger to sadness to depression, frustration for sure, but has also made people feel hopeless and powerless and alone. And let's speak to that for a moment. You know, there is nothing that makes you know your strength and your power more than, you know how it feels when you help somebody out? Oh, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? And there's so much good that we can do, just neighbor to neighbor, that is about that, to just remind us of our power. And when we do it, and when we all do it, what that means in terms of strengthening community around, as much as anything, around hope and a belief that we are being seen and heard. There is the work that we need to do around, first of all, everybody just check your voter registration status. Anybody you know in another state, remind them to do that. That seems like, oh, why would we do that? We've never had to worry about that before. Well, with all this business of them purging the voter rolls, not to mention how they've been going and taking ballots from various states, remind people, check your voter registration status. Make sure you check your polling location. Part of the game that they're playing, again, to make it more difficult, is this shell game, closing polling locations, so your parents and your grandparents always voted at that elementary school down the street. And then on election day, if that's the only day they choose to vote, they'll walk down there and it won't be there. So some of the basics too, just let's check those things. Volunteer to be a poll worker. Volunteer on a campaign. Figure out how you can support candidates. And in that way, it is really, look, I will tell you, okay, this is a total digression, but campaigns, I've been in a lot of them for myself and others, and campaigning is fun, right? You meet the best people, you meet the angels walking among us, right? There are babies that have been born because of my campaigns. Marriages and babies and all that, right? I see the young people. But, I mean, the bottom line is this, and I know we're running out of time. I firmly and strongly believe that when you feel powerless, you are powerless. And when you feel powerful, you are powerful. And we are powerful. And we are powerful. And so let's just show ourselves, each other, our power around the midterms and every day. And every day. that we are seen, we see each other, that this is our country. We love our country, and we are going to fight for its ideals. We are going to fight for the dream. We know that that fight can be difficult, but we're not going to let them get in our head and defeat us, because there is so much at stake and so much good to be done. So thank you all.
Thank you, Vice President.
All right, you guys, so we have been listening in to this fireside chat. Again, this is happening live in Las Vegas. Vice President Kamala Harris answered a lot of questions. She also went off script. I have to apologize for some of the language that was used during her remarks there, but you know, she was passionate and she actually apologized for herself as well. So we have a lot of big stuff to follow up on. We're going to be checking in with how the Phillies and the Flyers are doing. And then also, I want to talk to you about some of our biggest news. There was a row home that collapsed, how a family narrowly escaped. We're also talking about an attack on Market Street and how that potential victim is doing here. And then we'll also be talking to you about a story that someone asked me about, this New Jersey situation. It was at a Wawa. They say a man stole a car with children still in the back seat. We'll try to get to all of it when we come back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. Let's start with a score check. You know, the Phillies are playing, the Flyers are playing too. How are our guys doing tonight? Let's start with the Flyers. It looks like they're at the end of the first period. Hurricanes are up 1. Not great, but it's the beginning of the game. We still got a lot of time to see our way through this, so I'm, gonna hold out hope. Let's check on the Phillies on how they're doing. Bottom of the 8th. Ooh, the A's are leading 12-1. That's not pretty at all. But I mean, we have had a great couple of last games, so this is probably gonna be one of those things where we're just looking ahead to the future. How can we do better for next time? What's coming up next? Want to talk to you about some of our biggest stories of the day. You may have seen this on our social media pages, maybe on the Fox 29 website. There was a row home that collapsed And we hear that a family narrowly escaped that partial collapse. This all took place here in the city of Philadelphia. You're taking a look at some video from that area. You can see the dilapidated conditions of that particular home. So what we can tell you right now, no one was injured, thankfully, when that side wall of that Philadelphia row home came down earlier this morning. It happened on the 1800 block of Bruner Street, and we know that again, no injuries were reported during this partial collapse, but there was a family who was inside at the time. They escaped safely. Unfortunately, one of their pet cats is missing, so I'm sure they're hoping that someone knows what happened and someone returns their fur baby. Hopefully that cat is not somewhere in the rubble there. And we heard from witnesses too that were talking to us about everything that took place there. One guy says that he was sitting in his truck when he heard the first couple of bricks start to fall. Actually, he says he feels like he had spidey senses because he knew to get away from the home, and then literally seconds later came crashing down. He said there was a big cloud of smoke, of dust. He said it was a really crazy scene. He's lived on the block for about 20 years. He's never seen anything like this. Now, we don't know right now what caused that collapse. We do have more video if you'd like to see it, a full report on it on our website, also on the Fox Local app if you'd like to learn a little bit more information. We're also keeping up with this crazy story where we're hearing about an assault that took place on Market Street, also happening inside of a market in Philadelphia. They say that they're looking right now for a man who spat on a woman and then hit her. This all happened during an argument of some sort inside that market. It happened around 11 p.m. April 22nd. They're hoping that anybody who witnessed this take place, we've got the video pulled up for you there. You can see who the victim is and who the suspect is. And then when it goes ahead and play, let's take a look at what happens here. It looks like he's talking to her. It looks like it's some sort of argument. And he looks heated. The friend looks like he's trying to get him to stop and walk away. It looks like he continues to bother the woman or berate her. Someone else tries to intervene. And there's the attack. They leave the store, and now police are looking for this person. Not much information on who that individual is, but we did have the picture that was going to show you just a little bit of his face there. Again, not quite sure what that argument was about. You're taking a look at him there on your screen. Not quite sure what this argument was about, but they say that that woman suffered several injuries. And so again, if anybody knows who this guy is on your screen and knows a little bit more information about where he could be today, Philadelphia police ask that you talk to them because they want to question him and potentially put him behind bars. So that's the latest that's happening there with some of our biggest news of the day. And I also want to remind you all that I was asked a little earlier on about this situation in New Jersey. I haven't gotten much information from police just yet, but from what I'm hearing, there are rumors that someone stole a car near a Wawa out in Bridgeton. This is part of New Jersey that we're talking about here. And they say that there were some children inside the car. Again, at this point in time, we're considering these to be rumors until I'm able to confirm it with law enforcement. But if anybody knows anything else about this situation and you would like to email our news station, that would probably be the best way to go. We'll get more information as the night progresses. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you something live in the news at 10 o'clock. You guys, we're going to take a quick step back. When we come back, I want to talk to you about, what you're interested in. What are you all talking about? What are you all streaming, looking at on social media, clicking, reading, all of that good stuff. We'll talk with Jake Leonard when we return. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live, where we try to bring you live breaking news. We also pay attention to what you, our audience, wants to know more about. So every now and again, we check into what's trending, what's Philly talking about. And I brought up Jake Leonard to the desk.
Thank you, thank
Jake,
you.
How's your day been going so far?
My day has been going really good.
Good.
Yes, so I actually did something really fun this morning.
Like what?
So one of my good friends is a music teacher at an elementary school.
Shout out to the
Yes,
educators.
it's called Charles Kelly Elementary. Okay, so I want to, before I tell you what's trending, give a quick shout out to all of the kids at Charles Kelly Elementary School. I said I would do it. So here it is, guys. You were great. Thank you for listening. I showed you my videos. I told you all about what I do. So maybe one day this will be you.
It could. That's
Yeah.
so cute.
Right?
First of all, congratulations on
Thank
the school
you.
talk.
Thank
That's
you.
always an exciting moment. And yes, shout out to the school kids. We love to have you. Love to see you. Very good.
It was super fun. I felt really adult.
Okay, well, wait. You talked to us a little bit about what you're talking about. So it was like a career type of thing
Yes.
where you just give them an option of
Yes.
what's out there?
Yeah, so I spoke to a bunch of 5th graders and I kind of just came in and told them what I do here. I showed them some of my videos. I was like, this is my shift. This is what a day looks like. And they were great. They were really interested. They had great questions. So we have some future journalists on our hands.
Absolutely. Before we get into what's trending, because this is something I'm really passionate about. You know, a lot of kids these days, when you ask them what they want to be, first of all, they'll say YouTuber, but influencer. And I just want them to know that those same skills that you would use to do that, being on camera, talking to an audience,
Yes.
connecting with people, being on
Yes.
social media, also transcend here. I was on YouTube
Yes.
before I got
Yes.
my start here in journalism.
I 100% agree. I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but
This is the
I have
topic.
to say, you're seeing a lot of, like events, like red carpets or whatever, and there's a lot of influencers and stuff that are asking questions, and some of them are decent, but the ones that are really good, thought out, are the ones that actually have a journalistic background and know how to ask questions. So it really is important if you're interested in YouTube, being an influencer of some sort, maybe consider journalism because you will learn some really good skills.
Yes, especially those interviewing skills. We need those.
Yes.
All right, so talk to me about what people are looking for online.
Yeah, so that set up a really good transition into school because I am talking about Canvas.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you ever used Canvas, but Canvas was something I definitely used at Temple. It was like,
It's kind of like Blackboard, right?
yeah. So like all my like classes were set up there and we get our assignments. So basically today, May 7th, Canvas is down at a bunch of universities. So all over the country, but some near us.
Okay.
So
This is how you get your assignment, and this is how you get your classes, and it's down. Not great. Okay.
Yes,
I see it.
especially with finals. So Penn State, it was down for Penn State. It was down at UPenn. So you can see on the screen, they released a statement basically just saying that Canvas is currently down across many institutions. This isn't just a UPenn thing. You can just check out your instructor's page for more information.
Do we have, is that this
Yes.
one right here?
So
Scan 31.
yes,
real
Scan
quick?
31. We have Penn State statement. So basically on X, Penn State, they wrote, Penn State is currently experiencing a disruption to Canvas related to an ongoing security incident affecting infrastructure. The vendor that provides the Canvas platform. Out of an abundance of caution, users should avoid interacting with or clicking on any links, messages, or content that may be posted by threat actors or appear suspicious during this event. Penn State will never direct users to unverified third-party sites for Canvas-related communications or remediation activities. We understand the importance of Canvas to teaching and learning activities and recognize the disruption this may cause. We continue to share updates as additional information becomes available. So it kind of alluded to it in that statement, but basically what it's looking like is Canvas is down because there's a widespread hack going on.
Okay.
Yes. So basically what happened was a bunch of people tried to log on to Canvas and they couldn't get in. They were locked out. So the platform was taken offline and put into quote unquote maintenance mode. So students weren't able to access study materials. their grades, quizzes for like the final exams. So what time of year it is, it's finals. So this is a nightmare for a lot of students. So a lot of people are getting online, what's going on, and then a lot of schools are kind of reacting in the way that Penn State and UPenn are, that are, they're basically like, look, we hear you, we know this is going on, it's not your fault, there's nothing we can do at the moment, kind of just stay put. So they're looking into it. So basically, this is really interesting. Students and faculty attempting to log in were actually met with a ransom note from the hackers. What? Okay. Yes. So basically, the group alleged that the parent company, Infrastructure, ignored the previous attempts to resolve the breach and instead only applied like security patches. So basically, they're claiming that they heard of this and got this ransom and we're like, okay, like we're just gonna kind of do a quick fix and
we'll put a band-aid over the problem.
So they're angry. So the hacking group is called Shiny Hunters, and they are giving a date of May 12th, 2026 for them to kind of give what they want, because they claim to not only have hacked Canvas and preventing people from using it, they're saying that they have data for millions of users across thousands of universities. So Canvas, you know, I use it at Temple, it's being used at all these schools. It has so much student data. So this is, it seems like a very stressful situation. It's unfolding, like we don't know too many details, but yeah. Canvas, it's kind of a big deal.
Well, yes. So I'm looking like this because this isn't the first hacking situation that we've heard of recently, of course. A couple of other big things. I think Microsoft was out for a while where, there were some allegations or some accusations that maybe it was a hacking kind of situation. But this is one where you're telling me that some people are even seeing that there's a ransom attached. And May 12th is not that far away. It's next Tuesday. So clock definitely ticking. I wonder if how they're playing this.
Yes.
Because usually officials will kind of call the scammers bluff.
Yes.
But to your point, there is a lot of information that is already into the software or to the website that you have there, including your email address. I'm not sure if addresses are also involved.
No, potentially, they have, but they have passwords, financial information, like student IDs, even like messages, like sometimes as a student you can be messaging your professor back and forth, maybe if there was like something personal was said. Now that information, if this hack is as widespread as it seems, they have access to all of it.
This is bananas. I'm hoping that they come to a resolution pretty quickly. I mean, for the sake of the kids, I just imagine being a senior and you're trying to graduate and get the last minute assignments done, especially kids who were maybe trying to get some extra credit done.
Definitely.
And now you're facing this. So we'll keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything else that you wanted to bring us about this before we move to the next thing?
Honestly, I'm giving all the information I know right now. There's still a lot of like questions. It's like just like a big deal,
It's ongoing.
Yeah, it's ongoing. There's a lot of unknowns, but I'm sure in the next couple of days we'll be hearing a lot about it.
Okay, all right. Did you guys know that was happening? We'll keep our ears to the ground and everything else. You always bring us what's trending, what everybody's talking about. We love it. We will continue with the show.
Yes.
So, I wanted to talk to you all about something very big, very serious, very heartbreaking, especially for one community in particular. And Jake, as you get back to your seat, I'm going to ask you if there's a way that you can pull this up. It's about the 80-year-old crossing guard. All right, so you guys, out in New Jersey, I kind of let the cat out of the bag there, but there's an 80-year-old crossing guard. Everybody loves him. You can imagine the kids come up, they're really excited to see him. Unfortunately, we hear that he was struck and killed by a car, and it happened while he was helping some kids cross the street. So we can tell you that driver remained at the scene when this happened, was fully involved in the investigation, listened to what police had to say, answered any questions that he could. Right now, that person's identity has not been released. And right now, police are also not telling us whether or not that person has been charged. But of course, I mentioned that a community is in full mourning for him. Local leaders, the school district, they are talking about how much he meant to them. His name, by the way, is Gene Schultz. Again, he's 80 years old. They say he was helping a Woodland Park student and their sibling cross an intersection at McBride and Lackawanna Avenues, if you're familiar with the area, and then they were hit by a vehicle. This happened Monday after school. So he was taken to the local hospital. Unfortunately, he did not make it, and both of the kids that he was helping, they're in stable condition. They were also treated at the hospital. Again, they say that 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 driver did remain at the scene. Again, they're not naming the driver right now. They're not talking to us about whether any charges have been announced, but the Woodland Park School District says that his loss will be deeply felt across the entire community. So I just wanted to put that out there. We're all going to keep the family of Gene Schultz in our prayers, and we're going to keep Gene in our memory as well. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick step back. When we come back, I want to let you all know that there was, while we're on the scope of schools, there was a meeting tonight in which parents were learning different tips, tricks, whatever that they could about how to keep their kids safe. So when I was in school, we had sexting. That was something that you absolutely did not want to do. You could send someone a photo of yourself or a video of yourself, and all of a sudden it gets out everywhere. And I remember in school we had plenty of meetings about that. Well, we're in a new day and age, and it's not just whether or not you send something of yourself. Someone can create something of you and then put it out there, and now your image is everywhere. It's called Deepfakes. They use artificial intelligence to do it. We're going to be talking to one of our reporters, Jill, about what those parents learned, what the meeting really entailed, and why they decided to have it. We'll touch base with her when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We are streaming right now from Philadelphia. A lot of things going on all around the country, but I want to talk to you about something that's hitting a little closer to home for some families. So I heard that there was this big meeting where they invited parents to talk to them about some tips, different things that they can do to help protect their kids from something called AI deepfakes. I mentioned that when I was in school, when I was a kid, we had a lot of meetings about sexting, why you shouldn't do it, the risks, and then of course hearing that it's possible that your image could be shared out there for everyone to see. That could harm you when you're trying to get a job, when you're trying to move on and do other things in life. But nowadays, the kids nowadays have a whole nother ball game to look into with artificial intelligence. I want to bring in Jill, one of our reporters. She sat in on that meeting. Jill, I can't imagine what it's like to grow up and be a kid today. Talk to us a little bit about this meeting that they had and why they decided to hold it now. I don't think Jill can hear me. Can we touch base with her? Leave that open, actually. Hey, Jill, it looks like you're not able to hear me from my microphone, but can you hear me from here? Okay, no, we lost Jill altogether. Let's let her know that she can't hear me, so we're not able to communicate. But don't worry, we will keep moving forward with some of our biggest news, including our weather forecast. I see Scott Williams on standby for us. Scott, what's going on up in the skies?
After a pretty nice day, are we going to go? Yeah, we had temperatures in the 60s, upper 60s was the high temperature officially today for Philadelphia. Temperatures should top out around 72 degrees for this time of year. Those temperatures for the overnight will go into the 40s. We're talking upper 40s. Philadelphia, some of the suburbs will dip into the low to mid 40s out there. Those temperatures, of course, were a little cooler today because of a cold front that moved through yesterday, and it's finally clearing the coast, and those temperatures for tomorrow will be topping out around 70 degrees for Philly. Lots of sunshine out there for tomorrow. Saturday, showers, thunderstorms are back in the mix, upper 60s, and for Mother's Day we get that dry break. Those temperatures will top out around 80 degrees. That is above average for this time of year. So of course, looking at some of those showers that will be moving through Saturday afternoon into the evening time frame. But here's a look at the Mother's Day forecast. There's that breakfast in bed scenario. We're talking temperatures, though, that will be topping out around 80 degrees for the afternoon. So a really nice day on tap for Mother's Day itself. And then by the evening on Mother's Day, look at this. Timing more rain as well as some cooler temperatures. Another front's going to be moving through. So most of the day on Sunday is pretty much entirely dry. It's after about 10 o'clock north and west toward the Poconos, the Lehigh Valley, looking at some showers, looking at some rainfall. That will be moving in for Monday. So Monday right now looks kind of damp and dreary and much cooler because we do anticipate a high temperature on Sunday of around 80 degrees. And then those temperatures are going to be only in the upper 50s for high temperatures by Monday. So we're getting some of those showers Saturday afternoon and evening. Mother's Day's dry. It's Sunday night into Monday when more rain and cooler temperatures approach. A dry break for Tuesday. And then we're talking about the cloud cover and those showers kind of moving back in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And then next weekend, as we get toward the middle of the month, we're talking high temperatures, upper 70s to around 80 degrees. But we still have a couple more chilly days in the forecast, Monday and Wednesday of next week. And both of those days we anticipate some rainfall. But right now, no frost and freeze headlines, so that is certainly some good news. Now, there will be a concern overnight tonight, central and western part of the state, but I think we're going to be okay. Chilliest temperatures for the Lehigh Valley will likely dip into the low 40s for the overnight. We'll update this tonight at 10. Back over to you.
Scott, thank you so much for a look at our forecast. As you mentioned, you'll be updating it for 10, so I'm going to let you get to it. You guys, let's check back in with Jill, our reporter. She's been talking to us about what's going on with that meeting where we were learning a little bit more about how AI deepfakes are now affecting our kids and how parents may be able to keep them safe. Jill, what did you learn out there?
Yeah, the meeting just wrapped up at 9, so I'll give you what I have so far. AI deepfakes. There was a parent meeting that happened today from 7 to 9. It was really an awareness event, a series of panels going over various topics like the law, the trauma that goes behind when a victim is a victim of a deepfake. Also how schools can respond. And of course, this is relevant for our area. Just in December, some students were victims of AI deepfakes that circulated back in December at Radnor Township School District. And the superintendent was in attendance today, not a part of the panel, but just in attendance. And I do have a statement from that school district. I'll give you that in just a minute. But yeah, what we talked about was how kids are using them, and they actually took us through how easy it is to make a deep fake. It took a few minutes. It was actually very scary, believe it or not. The trauma impact, they said it's very similar to PTSD, and what's supposed to be a safe space, like a school, is no longer that safe space. Also, the legal and school responsibilities. You had the Attorney General for Pennsylvania was there tonight. You had someone with the Department of Justice there. So really local, but also state leaders were there. And then what parents can do, it all starts at home, you know? And people were stressing that. We talked one-on-one with them. They didn't make our package, unfortunately, just because of time constraints and stuff. But they said it starts at home. The parents have to be educated on this, and that's why a meeting like this did exist. And they would like to see more, just so more around our area and more nationally, so parents can be more well aware of just how easy these deepfakes are and the lasting impacts as well. Now, in the state, you have Act 125 and Act 35. They were signed in 2024 and 2025. They label AI misuse and label it as a crime. So there are protections in place in the state. Now, I do want to go over real quick the school district statement. I'm going to look it up real quick. So Radnor Township School District, like I said, we're in attendance, but sent us a statement. They said we have revisited and strengthened our district policies, provided more education, training, and support for our students, plan to provide resources and training for parents, and continue to lean on third-party experts in the field and community to implement best practices. So they are trying to be more proactive, apart from that December incident that happened. But so the district is trying to learn, just like a lot of school districts will be, because as you know, Judea, AI is not going away anytime soon.
Not at all. We need to learn how to use it responsibly. Jill, thank you so much for making some time out for us here on Philadelphia Live. I know you got to get ready for the 10 o'clock, so I'm going to let you go. But for those of you who are streaming with us, I want to let you all know that we were given strict guidelines not to show any minors, quote any of the ones that showed up to this meeting. And I want to let you all know that, yes, there were children, teens, minors who spoke out about what's happening. So it was a very, I would say, transformational meeting that Jill got to attend. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about it, 10 o'clock is when you're going to see her story. All right, you guys, I know a lot of you all came here to learn more about this virus, what's happening with that deadly outbreak on the cruise ship. When we come back, there is a news conference where you're able to learn a little bit more information from the WHO. They'll be talking about what you need to know as these some of these passengers make their way home, maybe even to your state or your city. We'll learn about that when we come back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I know a lot of you guys are here because you want to learn more about the Hantavirus, that virus, that deadly outbreak on that cruise ship. So what I have for you so far is that the Hantavirus, as we know, is usually something that you contract by inhaling contaminants through rodent feces, urine, saliva. But in this particular case, on this cruise ship that we're talking about that took off on about April 1st, where we know April 11th or so, we heard about the first confirmed sickness and the first confirmed death. In this particular case, we're talking about a strain called the Andes virus. And what we're learning from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as other medical officials, is that this particular strain is passable between person to person. So soon, I believe on Saturday, that ship is supposed to dock in Spain at the Canary Island, and those people who have been on it, 150 passengers, crew members, are supposed to be checked out, and then they're able to disembark, and then some of them will be making their way home. And that could potentially be in your state or your city. So I understand why there's some concern, but I do want to let you know that officials are telling us right now that the Hantavirus is not comparable to the coronavirus. And I want to let you listen into the experts on why they say so. Let's listen in.
Would you consider this outbreak to be an epidemic? And also, what would you say about people wearing masks? Should people be wearing masks? Is it considered to be airborne? And also, how long should contacts remain in isolation to avoid further spread? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. And we go back to Dr. Van Kerkhoff.
Yeah, so thanks, Nina. So what we have is, obviously the situation that's happening on the ship itself and the follow-up of the contacts of the passengers who disembarked in St. Helena. So far, as you've heard, we have 8 cases so far, 5 of whom have been confirmed, 3 who have sadly died. We have no further symptomatic patients who are on board, or passengers or crew on board, I should say, which is a good sign. But of course, there is a long incubation period of the Andes virus. We know on board they have taken some precautions to try to minimize the risk. What they have advised on board is disinfection of the rooms. They have confined people to their cabins and providing food and water. And they have asked, as a precautionary measure for anyone leaving their room, to wear a medical mask. We certainly advise people who are caring for those who are suspected of this Andes virus or hantaviruses to wear a higher level of personal protective equipment. That guidance has been given to the people on board, but also there are the 2 patients that are in hospital in the Netherlands, and there's a patient in ICU in South Africa. And I am very happy to say the patient in South Africa is doing better, and the 2 patients in the Netherlands we hear are stable. So that is actually very good news. So we have a situation that we are monitoring very, very carefully. These numbers may change. As we're doing follow-up, we may see some additional cases be reported, and that shows that the active follow-up is happening and that the testing is being done. What we know about transmission, and there's been a lot of questions posed to us about what is actually happening. What we do know is that the Andes virus, in previous outbreaks, there has been instances of human-to-human transmission, mainly among close contacts, either providing clinical care or people who have had close physical contact. And we believe that's happening and has happened in the case here on the ship as well, between the couple, the first and second cases, and also a medical doctor providing care. As you probably know, those who develop symptoms, those who go on to develop disease, sometimes develop very severe disease, which includes severe respiratory disease. So there may be some coughing, there may be some aerosolizing procedures that may be done. And of course, that's where we would require higher level care. So this is not COVID, this is not influenza, it spreads very, very differently. So there are different precautions that people are taking. So we are supporting the ship's operators in the mitigation measures that they are putting on board. And as we've said, we are working to have a proper and full disembarkment procedure step by step to support authorities in the Canary Islands for the next stage of the people who are on board.
And Dr. Mahmoud, please.
No, there was the second part of the question about whether this is an epidemic or pandemic and all the things going on social media. I just wanted to address the situation. What makes unique here is similarity crowded in a confined space. We had a similar situation in Argentina in 2018 to 2019 when a symptomatic individual attended a social gathering. So that led to a lot of people getting infected. So we are in a similar situation right now, a cluster in a confined space with close contact. Does that mean the rest of the world, this disease will spread? We had that outbreak in 2018 and it led only 34 cases. We may have similar cases from there. So I just want to show that if we follow public health measures, and the lessons we learned from Argentina now is shared across all countries, what needs to happen in contact tracing, isolation, we can break this chain of transmission, and this doesn't need to be a large epidemic. It's in a specific confined setting where people are interacting in a prolonged close contact. So we feel it's quite familiar to the 2000 outbreak in Argentina, and we don't anticipate a large epidemic. With the experience our member states have and the actions they have taken, we believe that this will not lead to subsequent chain of transmission. But we need to be balanced, reasonable, supportive solidarity in containing this outbreak in a difficult environment that's happening there. Been in the weeks after weeks there, it's difficult. So the solidarity required and the support, most of the people there, as DG said, are healthy individuals who are going with their lives. So is the public health measures able to break down the chain of transmission? And we believe this will be a limited outbreak if the public health measures are implemented and solidarity is shown across all countries.
Thank you very much, both. Next question goes to Christiane Ulrich from DPA. Christiane, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Christian. My question goes in the same direction, but a little bit further. We are 6 years out from the Corona pandemic. This also started with very few cases, and you experts know how this is different, but we and our readers might not. I was wondering whether one of you can outline specifically how this is not comparable to the early days or weeks of the Corona pandemic, and why the risks are lower than they were 6 years ago with Corona. Thank you.
Yeah, good comparison. Let's see if it is one. Dr. Van Kerkhoff, please.
I'm going to start, and then I'm going to ask our expert here, Anais, to come in, because this is not coronavirus. This is a very different virus. We know this virus. Hantaviruses have been around for quite a while. There's a lot of detail that we know. I'm going to ask Anais to come in and say this, but I want to be unequivocal here. This is not SARS-CoV-2. This is not the start of a COVID pandemic. This is an outbreak that we see on a ship. There's a confined area. We have 5 confirmed cases so far. We completely understand why these questions are coming, and we are trying to provide all of the information that we can. That's why we're having a press conference here to give accurate information, and we're grateful for all of those out there who are asking these types of questions. But this is not the same situation we were in 6 years ago. It doesn't spread the same way like coronaviruses do. It's very different. It's that close, intimate contact that we've seen. And most hantaviruses don't transmit between people at all. Most hantaviruses are transmitted from rodents or their feces or their saliva, or droppings, to people. And only this one particular virus, the Andes virus, which has been identified here, we've seen some human-to-human transmission. And again, I want to reiterate, the actions that are being taken on board are precautionary to prevent any onward spread. And so there's a lot that is being done right now to be able to try to minimize the risk even further. But I do want Anais to come in and provide a little bit. No? Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a question actually from Cabo Verde, but it came in writing, so I'm going to read it out. It is, hello and good afternoon. It is the Tudo Pouco, the news website in Cabo Verde. Thank you for that question. On May 2nd, a person died aboard the MV Hondius, as we know. The ship arrived afterwards in Cabo Verde. The question is, where was the body stored of the deceased, or where is it right now?
Yeah, thank you very much. So yes, in fact, you are correct. An older woman died on board. the ship's operators are making arrangements for the remains to be stored appropriately, carefully, and to make the onward movement of the remains in a dignified way. So the remains still are on board. We are in touch with the ship's operators about this and about any onward passage of the remains. So I think I'll just leave it at that. But yes, of course, and this is a reminder, these are people. These people have families and they have questions, but we're in contact with the operators about the safe storage and the onward movement of the remains.
Thank you very much. Next question goes to James Gallagher from the BBC. James, please go ahead and unmute. James,
Hello.
do you hear us? Yeah, here you go.
It took a while for the pop-up to unmute to arrive. Thank you. My main question is, could you outline what you think is unusual about this outbreak, or does it fit entirely within what we would expect of hantavirus outbreaks? And related on that, could you draw on whether you think there is anything fundamentally different or shifting within hantaviruses at the moment? I'm just looking at the PAHO reports from the end of last year, citing increases in cases and in some countries lethality in South America. If you could draw on those as well, please.
Great, James, thanks. And we go to Anaïs Legon next to me, technical lead on viral hemorrhagic fevers.
Thanks a lot for the question. What is most unusual, obviously, is that we have a transmission in a boat, which I think that's the first documented to date with this particular virus. As mentioned by my colleagues before, a boat makes it a very specific environment for which we want to make sure that we have a good understanding on how the transmission has happened, and most importantly, to strengthen all the measures that my colleagues developed previously. There is no indication to date that there is something further unusual, but obviously the fact that it happened in a cruise ship with people from different nationalities and is something that we haven't seen before. Regarding your comment on the PAHO report, the epidemiological situation related to hantaviruses in the Americas, you are right, a slight increase has been noted in few countries. Just to recall that this update covers all hantaviruses that are documented in the Americas, where most countries at risk have good surveillance system. And the increase can be related to several factors that needs to be determined, what countries are working on, probably linked to incidents on rodent population and different ecological and behavioral factors. This doesn't specifically relate to this virus we are talking about. And I want to recall that most hantavirus cannot transmit human to human, only the Andes one. So it's really linked to the rodent population. Over.
Thank you very much, Anaïs. Next question. No, before I come to the next question, we have a long list of questions still, and we want to really get to everybody. So please try to limit your questions to one. I'm pretty sure many people want to ask the same questions anyway. So next question goes to Laurent Sierra from Swiss News. Now we come to Switzerland. Laurent, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the briefing. A question on contact tracing and the extent of what has already been done, because it seems that the person who is in Zurich right now was in a flight where the contact tracing was not started right away. And so there is the threat that some people might not have been traced in the first days after the contact with that person. So do you know whether most countries affected have started but also probably ended the contact tracing process? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laurent. This goes to Dr. Mahmoud.
Thanks. In terms of contact tracing and the policy for that, each country has slightly different. What we recommend from WHO is extensive investigation and information sharing. So this contact passenger was informed on two channels, one from the company informing the patient. And then second, from the IHR, South Africa, sharing that information with Switzerland. So from the national level to the canton level, at least we will see how that information passes, because most of the information are shared at the capital level and then it goes to canton. What was done here, and that's we really need to appreciate the responsibility and the proactiveness of all the passengers contacted. They follow the public health message and taken the necessary action. Now the canton and the authorities are doing the investigation, and it takes a lot of time identifying all the contacts where he went, and these are retrospective, what we call retrospective contact tracing, that meaning going backwards to the day he arrived and all the way until the onset. So that data is being collected and analyzed, and then what we are encouraging now that we have a confined environment and hopefully we'll have a date of departure, prepare all the countries now. There's a lot of lessons we learned from all the countries shared from South Africa. The level of preparedness may have been slightly different. Now we're all prepared, and we'll have passengers and crews coming up. We are encouraging and we'll be sharing the investigation and the contact tracing format and be proactive and the necessary recommendation. Each state and sovereign state will have a different application from our recommendation, but we firmly believe that safe, informed contact tracing and monitoring will reduce the further spread. So we are finalizing that in consultation with global experts from our European CDC, from US CDC, from UK, Netherlands, on all that, and we will issue that guidance in the coming tomorrow, hopefully. But we believe that the retrospective contact tracing is going on and action is being taken here in Switzerland.
All right,
Thank you
so
very much.
you heard from the experts. Let's go back over some of the most basic details, facts that we know about this particular virus. So symptoms. A lot of people want to know, what are the symptoms? How would I know if I was sick? The early symptoms actually present a lot like the flu. So we're talking about fever, fatigue, muscle aches, headaches. Maybe you'll get chills, feeling some kind of nausea, maybe even some stomach problems. They say things start to get more serious when you develop coughing, severe shortness of breath. That's when fluid may start building in your lungs. The fatality rate is about 35%. And we do know on this particular ship, there were 150 people. They're saying several of them are seriously ill at this point in time and being monitored. And then we know that I believe 3 people have been confirmed to have died on that ship. So I also want to let you all know that the World Health Organization said at least 7 people have been suspected of being sick. Those cases have been identified. Here in the US, the people who have already made it back home are being monitored very, very closely. So I know that a lot of you guys might be worried about this, may be concerned, especially if you live in one of those hotspot states that we're talking about, like I think Georgia is one of them. Arizona is another. California has been added to the list. I think there are a couple of others as well. So far here in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, we are not seeing any confirmed cases. But again, once they dock on Saturday in the Canary Islands, that could change. We'll see where these passengers who are on the ships go. We know that on social media, a lot of them have been very, at first, very forthright about being on the ship. They were talking, some of them reaching out to news organizations already to maybe do some interviews. And since those interviews, a lot of them have decided they did not want to talk. They've gotten a lot of backlash. As you can imagine, there have been a lot of people talking to them during their DMs and comments, saying a lot of nasty, hateful things. So a lot of them don't want to talk anymore, are not being so forthright about having been on the ship. And where their moves are right now. But I can tell you that they are being monitored very, very closely. The World Health Organization says that this is not like the coronavirus in the way that we don't have to worry about a mass pandemic. So we'll wait as time goes on to see just how true that holds out to be. When we come back, I want to talk to you about some of the stories, some other stories that all of you guys are looking into, what you're clicking on, what you're watching, what you're looking into on social media. We'll be touching base one last time with our Jake Leonard when we come back. welcome back to Philadelphia Live. It's close to the end of the show, but we've still got some juicy stuff to talk to you all about. Jake, I don't know if the people remember, but earlier I was talking about child support and how that could affect your ability to travel. If you owe, right now, if you owe over $100,000 worth of child support, they will revoke your passport starting tomorrow.
Yes.
And pretty soon they say they're going to do it if you owe even $2,500. So we wanted to ask the people, what do you think about this? Is it fair? Is revoking your passport a fair penalty for not paying your child support? What are the people saying?
Yeah, so we ran a poll. You can always find it fox29.com/go-vote, Fox Local tab. So basically, we just asked, is revoking your passport an appropriate penalty for not paying child support? So as you can see, yes is completely in the lead at 80%. No is at 16%, and 4% said they're gonna leave a comment, but a lot more than 4% left a comment. We have
What are they saying in the
comments?
comments?
We have a lot of comments. A lot of people are talking from experience. Someone said, yes, if you keep telling the judge you can't work and have no income, how are you traveling out of the country? That money should go towards supporting your children, not towards a lavish lifestyle. Someone said that they think the two things are mutually exclusive. A lot of people are just saying, yes, no one should be able to take a trip when they don't pay their court-ordered obligations. Everyone is, it seems like the comments is just different variations of yes.
And
yeah.
I think honestly I had gotten, I'm just going to check my personal social media too, I think I had gotten really the same kind of response as well. Oh, somebody says, news like this makes me so happy I don't have kids. And someone else said, clock it. I mean, I get it, I understand, and my poll is actually 50-50.
Huh, interesting.
I know, it's weird, but I also didn't have the third option where people could just leave a comment like you guys do on our bigger page. So people can still vote before the show is over. How do they do that?
fox29.com/go-vote, Fox Local tab.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And just real quick too, I want to remind you all that if you are already out of the country when this starts happening tomorrow, you will not be stuck in whatever country you have decided to visit. They want you to go to the U.S. Embassy. You'll get what's called a temporary travel document, and that'll allow you to leave, but you won't be able to go on another trip until you figure it out. You pay off that debt, you get the state to confirm it, and then you reapply for a new passport.
Yes.
Yeah. So what else are the people talking about today?
So I have a really fun thing to end the show on.
Okay.
So as you know, this weekend's Mother's Day.
Yes, it is. Shout out to all the moms.
Yes. So obviously a bunch of different companies do things for the moms. And one that stood out that I saw online is, you know the game Fortnite, right?
Of course I know Fortnite.
Okay. So they, Fortnite always has like the skins, different celebrities kind of do the crossover, but they also have some famous cartoon characters. And so they announced that for Mother's Day, they are adding 3 legendary animated moms. So they're adding Lois Griffin from Family Guy, Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers, and Peggy Hill from King of the Hill.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't watch King of the Hill growing up. I actually wasn't allowed to watch any of that stuff growing up, but hilarious that those are the 3 moms that they chose.
I think, don't quote me on this because I'm not entirely sure. I remember seeing a little bit ago that they added like Peter Griffin, and I think they added the male counterparts, and I think people were like, add the moms, like they deserve it. So I think this could have been in response. But I love the way that they announced it. The skins are coming out tomorrow ahead of Mother's Day. So but to announce it, Epic Games, the parent company of Fortnite, they teased it on social media. They like a picture of the 3 moms just with the caption, "The moms deserve a little vacation." Isn't that so fun?
That's cute. That's cute. My niece and nephews, they do play Fortnite, so I wonder if they're gonna try to get the skins.
They could play as the mom. So also like I've never played Fortnite, so I don't know how it works, but apparently it's not just like the outfits or the skins or whatever. It's like coming as like a bundle. So they also have a unique emote, which I don't know what that means, but I guess if you play Fortnite, you know what that means. And also they have like a
little action.
yes,
A little, you know.
they have like themed like weapons and like bling and stuff. So like it's a whole thing. It's just, I don't know. I think it's super fun to kind of honor the moms. You know, Fortnite's getting in on it. You know, I don't know. I just feel like I saw the story. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to mention it.
All the moms are like, yeah, let the kids play the games, leave me alone. I want Mother's Day to just be about me. I'm going to be by myself and just relax. So this is the way to do it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Jake, it's so much fun having you up here talking to us about you know what people are looking for. Fortnite.